guys like the Roblox?
No. What? No. Get out. Go away, Ducket.
Neck hole, I'm hurt.
Fuck you, man.
I literally just got here. What?
I know. I would like for you to leave just as promptly. Please and thank you.
But neck hole, I want to tell you about my Roblox. I was playing this game where I got to be a border patrol officer. It was incredible.
Oh my god. Tegan, make him leave.
Oh, is Toots here?
If I don't say anything, he doesn't know I'm here.
Oh, hey, Toots. Toots, who are you trying to avoid? All right. Well, I don't know. It seems like you guys don't want to talk or nothing, so I'm going to go take a shit and buy a SEGA NFT. Remember, Christ is risen. Have a good podcast.
Rocky, is he gone?
I don't know for sure yet.
Fuck. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to Apostle Coin. I'm Brian Cartwright. I am joined by Tegan Somerset.
Brian!
Brian, like, did our feed actually get hacked, or do you have not handled your security flaws in your home yet?
I don't know. I see something running on my desktop here labeled turret.exe.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Jesus Christ.
And you say my computer security is bad.
He's clearly running that Windows ME, dude. That fucking Windows 98 and shit.
What? I don't know what this turret.exe does.
Delete it! Remove it.
Concerned about turret.exe is Rocky Hardy.
Yeah, that's me.
Why? I mean, I don't know what this thing does. Maybe it's like a plugin for Chrome or something. Like,
no, it absolutely is not. Brian, you know better. You know better. You're a fraud person. You know better. Remove it from your computer.
Okay, uninstall
Burn
it.
your computer. One of the two.
What, guys? Y'all, what's the problem? Like, you seem really upset about this turret.exe.
Ducket's here.
No. There are turrets all around my house. There's locks on every door.
There's a secret turret in your computer that he used to hack in and get in the feed.
Wait. Yeah. You're saying that Ducket Sequoia has a root on the box?
Yup, he does, and I cannot buy you a turret to get rid of it.
You should honestly just have antivirus. Like, Jesus Christ.
Really, I think at this point what you need like some sort of thing that recognizes Ducket Sequoia's voice and just uninstalls anything that has his voice.
That actually sounds like a bitch and a half to code.
It really does.
Well, it's not my problem. It's a problem for someone who codes.
I don't know what the Ducket Sequoia protocol would be.
Oh my god.
It just nukes your hard drive.
Well, Brian, you need a Ducket Sequoia protocol, apparently.
That sounds like a lot of work.
You're the one getting targeted by this guy. I don't know. It's a real hard on for you and like hacking into your shit, like crossing your boundaries. Don't know what that's about.
I guess that's a good point. I could shoot this laptop with a gun, but there's so many steps involved with that. First of all, I don't own a gun, so I'd have to go somewhere.
Come to Ohio. You can buy a gun at a gun show. You don't even need a valid driver's license. So easy.
But that also sounds like a lot of work. That actually adds steps, Tegan, because then I'd have to get on a plane.
Okay, here's the thing. I can buy you a gun, and I will ship it to your house.
I feel like that's illegal. I'm not entirely sure how, but like I feel like that's illegal.
It's Brian's legal right to own a gun.
Tegan, as somebody who worked in the logistics industry for 8.5 years,
yeah,
that will not work out.
Damn. Okay, what if I ship you all of the gun pieces separate? You'll have to reassemble the gun then, but it'll be like a fun puzzle.
That will almost work out, except for one piece.
You can get the ammo in Texas. It'll be fine.
No, it's not the ammo.
Oh, what is it?
It's the receiver.
The receiver? What's a receiver? I don't know anything about guns.
You know...
Guys, no, hold on. You have to remember... You're not a gun shipping and assembly podcast.
Oh, we're not? Oh, you're right.
We're not a hacked laptop podcast.
I think we are a hacked laptop podcast at this point.
We're currently a hacked laptop podcast, but we're working on it. But ultimately, as always, we are a podcast about video games. Tegan, what have you been up to?
I've been playing some video games.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's shocking. I'm gonna start with the worst video game we played. Alex beat Bloodborne, finally. It was a pain in the ass.
Oh.
It was a pain in the ass!
Please address all of your Bloodborne mail to Tegan.
Yeah, give it to me. Do it. The people in our audience don't play Bloodborne, doesn't matter. It's not as bad.
Okay, so did he fight the old man in the wheelchair?
I don't think so. Let me see. Hang on. Now I gotta look up a picture. Bloodborne endings. Okay. We did the one where we just accepted it. So the first ending. Just like, whoop, bye. Which was fine. And then it just restarted us right where you start. You wake up right on the slab and you're ready to go with New Game Plus. But, now he's trying to beat Neo? Not Neo 2 yet, I don't think. They look exactly the same, though. Neo's a bitch. On the scale of Dark Souls and Dark Souls likes, Neo and Neo 2 are the worst ones. And I think Dark Souls 2 is my favorite, but Alex likes Dark Souls 3. The Surge and Surge 2 are, like, in the middle, but near the bottom of the stack. They're, like, on the bottom half of the stack, because they're boring. Like, all the Dark Souls games have, like, some kind of, like, flavor to them, and there's no spice in this one. It's just future tech. Yeah, it's boring. Your souls are like computer chips or some shit, and it's just not as interesting. Bloodborne has a lot of, like, aesthetic joy to it. I definitely get that, but also, not as fun. Not as fun, because it doesn't feel like you're doing... It doesn't matter how much we level up, it doesn't feel like we're doing enough damage, you know? Whereas with regular Dark Souls and one of the other ones he's played, like, as you level up, you genuinely, like, feel more powerful, you do more damage, like, that kind of thing. Bloodborne, it's more like, you have to figure out your timing, or you have to be super over-leveled to have that, like, I am doing major damage. And Neo's just a bitch. Everybody moves really fast, and you move really fucking slow, and everybody's timing is really, really fast, and yours is really fucking slow. And we can't get, like, as many wikis as I've read about how to make the living weapon, like, effective, we aren't using it right somehow, and it just sucks, and ends up giving our, like, the enemies we're fighting a huge opening to just absolutely kick our shit in. So, nah. If you want to just chuck your controller at your TV, like, every third fight, go ahead and pick up Neo, but I don't recommend it. So there's that. And because Alex beat Bloodborne finally, that means I've gotten more time to play NiER. I haven't played NiER more than I would have. It's... I think I liked Automata better. Like, I think I still like Automata better. And it's not because, like, I don't get the story or whatever. It's not the voice acting. It's not the aesthetic. It's just the way that, like, I move. It feels not bad, not great, not as smooth as Automata, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Like, I'm doing all this stuff, like, I can feel immediately, like, where Automata improved on what NiER started, but, like, it's a remaster, and I get it's just a remaster, but, like, they could have made it a little more buttery, you know? I don't know. So far, I still like it, though. It's fun. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how we're alive for 500 years, but whatever. We're figuring it out. So I visited the one town that's, like, in the, like, cliff, where, like, all of the buildings are, like, on the sides of the walls and in, like, these little pods, and they're under siege by the shades or whatever. And then they're like, oh no, you look like that girl who runs around in her underwear, so we're not going to be nice to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, bye. And I'm just like, these guys, they suck. And then, like, we're literally, like, one field over, and like your home base town is like one field over, and you're doing fine. And then like there's another town that's on like the seaside, and they're doing even better than like your weird town is. So like, what's wrong with these pod people? Why don't they move? I would have moved. It's weird. I'll figure it out. I'm still at that point where like the plot isn't making sense, and it'll make sense later. But I like it so far. Like, I don't want to not play it, but when I'm looking for games to play, like, it's not my first choice.
All right, so tell me about the new Genshin stuff. How's Yenfei?
Oh, it's good. I got Rocky, I got Yenfei. I got her. It only took me 22 pulls, and I didn't spend any money. I just had all those primo gems. I still have all those primo gems. You saw. But yeah, it took 22 pulls. I got her in my second 10 pull. I was very excited. She is exactly what I wanted in a fire catalyst user. She feels like a caster. She feels more like Lisa, even though she's not. And all her little stuff is really cute. Her little lines are really cute. She's really, like, fun to run around in the world in, because, like, her little quips are fun. I started doing the new, the weird domain. The special domain for, like, this event period. And it's something. There's these crystals. You have to fight these like boosted hilichurls to get these crystals. And then you can put the crystals in like a big mirror thing. And the crystals that you put in determine like what kind of buffs you get when you're doing the domain. Yeah, and there's a different set for like your co-op domain and your regular domain, but you can use the crystals, you can use, like, the same crystal in both sets without having to worry about having two of them, which is nice. But it is hard. The domain is hard, and, like, I was doing it on easy, and I was not doing super well, which is frustrating. And then to get like the achievement parts for it, to earn the extra little cubes, which you can use in the event shop, it says that you have to, like, the scores are based on a cumulative score. And I was like, oh, okay, so if I just do the same level multiple times, like, eventually I'll accumulate enough, right? A cumulative score. No. It wants your highest score. It only counts your highest score.
Oh.
And so I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, I don't think cumulative means what you think it means. So now I just gotta wait and see if my friends ever want to just, like, bust it out one day in one of the lower level worlds. All my friends who are, like, world level 6, you know? Be like, hey, do you want to go into Alex's world level 3 and do the quest? So we can just all get 15,000 points.
Tegan, tell me what level your Yen is right now.
My Yenfei is level 40. I ran out of talent materials. Not level up materials, talent materials specifically. So I can't up her, like, moves anymore. So that's my bad. So I have to do that. But of course, every day I got to play this week was not the day that her talent materials were up. So instead I was trying to run the fire domain for the witches set. And I didn't get it. Not getting the good ones. I'm sad.
I did some digging into like artifacts, and apparently the best way to actually like go after like artifacts that you actually want, you want to like level your characters to the point where they're at meta when your adventure rank is 45. Because at that point, your character should be like 80 plus. And that team, like, every time you do a domain run, you're guaranteed a 5-star.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I mean, I'm going to do domains, pass or whatever, but, like, it's basically just for fodder material because, like, farming isn't...
Gotcha. Okay. So I shouldn't really worry about it right now, is what you're saying.
Right. Technically, you can get, like, 4-star artifacts, like, at like the level 59 thing or whatever. They have crazy low drop rates.
Gotcha. Okay.
Better drop rates for like 4 stars are like when you're doing the level 59 one, and like I have one level 7 character, so like I'm just gonna drop the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay. So really, I should just focus on the talent level up domains for now, so that I can max out everybody.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, that makes more sense. I'll do that then.
Yeah.
Alex also got Jean, which is the only character that he's like really wanted. And he was like, "Oh, I hope he got her." And he's like, he'd missed the trial period for her because like he'd seen her on the initial banner, didn't pull on it. The banner went away. She's never been back. So he's just been pulling on the blue banner, the like permanent banner, to try and get her. And he's like, I hope I like her if I get her. And he got her, and he's like, "Oh, good. Do I like her though?" And he does. Yay! So he like dumped a bunch of materials into her, so now she's level 70. He's just like, whoa. What we're doing right now, it's fun. He's having a good time with her. That's the important part. Remember, friends and family, when you're playing Genshin Impact, you should just play with the characters you like. No one gives a shit. Like, if anyone's yelling at you about your stuff, it doesn't matter.
I'm kind of mad now because now I actually have like a functioning Fire 4-man. I have Diluc, I have Amber, probably trade her out for Yanfei, and I have Bennett, and I have Zhongling. That, like, I have support, like, both in damage and, like, health recovery. I can use, like, Diluc as, like, damage DPS, but, like, Zhongling's a decent secondary. And so, like, now I'm, like, a little upset that I'm, like, pivoting my attention to, like, building up the fire team. And part of that is, like, doing, like, artifacts for fodder. Like, I'm doing the one that gives me Witchfire because, like, ice is what's powerful there, and I already have, like, I have a decent, like, ice team, and I just throw in, oh no. The idol girl.
Barbara?
Thank you. Barbara, like, for, you know, additional healing, even though, like, to be honest, I'm at it.
Right.
And I just, like, run that with them, and, like, I just, like, turn my from those, and then I feed that stuff back into the fire team. I still have Ningguang, and I'm probably never gonna play her. I don't know when I will, but she's there. She's level 1. And like, I guess I have a lightning team, like with like Beto, Fischl, there's a
Razor?
not Razor.
Lisa?
Well, I have Lisa, and I have Lisa, Beto, Fischl. Maybe it's just those 3, and I just throw Chung Yun in there as like additional support.
Super
but
Conduct.
yeah, it's just Super Conduct. Man, I love Super Conduct.
Super Conduct's good. MiHoYo has said that after 1.6 they're gonna buff Electro characters a little bit. Not a ton, but like just to make them like more on par with other characters. So, and I'm convinced that means that Inazuma is coming a little bit sooner than I originally thought. Possibly like 1.8. I don't think they would be buffing Electro if the Electro Archon wasn't on its way into the banner. I'm gonna fucking wail on that one, I'm sure. God. Upset about it already.
Yeah, I still think Fischl's actually pretty good. I just don't. I can't deal with her voice and her lines.
That's fair.
But like, her support ability is actually really nuts. So.
Really? Ooh. I have Fischl now, but I haven't tried her yet with anything. Her personality is frustrating. I'm just not into the toonies, you know?
It's just like, I need to like dial it back, please. I'm trying to do.
Yes, I would like you to relax. Unless if this like alternate world she went to or created or whatever is real, I will scream.
Oh my god. Brian, have you dipped in?
No, and I really feel like I need to. I know that there was that big update, and like the big update made me go, man, I need to get back into Genshin. And like, I actually had a conversation earlier this week with a friend of the show, Stuart Templeton, about what we call game anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you started playing a game but have now not played it in a while, and you're just like, I want to get back in, but and I just know that I need to just sit down and just play more Genshin. You know, like it's one of those like you're like, well, I remember how to Genshin. I'm like, let's be frank, I didn't really know how to Genshin before. Like I was still like in an early enough game that I think that the way the game works was still revealing itself to me, and I need to make the time. It's a cool game. It's a cool space. I want to spend more time with it. Just, you know what? I'll just make some time today. So, I will Genshin.
Okay. A new thing was added this time, like in addition to the domain and stuff that's like limited. This is part of the permanent game. It's called a Serenity Pot. Like Serenity, but it's also a teapot. Serenity Pot. It's very funny, yeah. I like it. Anyway, and it's like a little self-enclosed, like a safe haven sort of thing for your traveler, and you can decorate it with furniture that you craft in the teapot. And all of the furniture that you're crafting are like assets that they're using in the world already. So it's like lanterns from Liyue and like buildings from Mondstadt and that sort of thing that you can then kind of plop down how you want. But everything takes like 13 hours to craft. So really you're supposed to like put something on and then leave for the day, essentially. They do, however, give you a bunch of these potions that are essentially like, craft the thing right now, please. Like, give me item. And they make them purchasable with currency that's earned passively in the teapot. So it's like super easy. There's no way to like monetarily shove real world money at this problem to make it go faster. And your friends, no matter their world level, can visit your Serenity Pot and help boost the speed at which stuff is crafted. Each friend who visits can speed up the process by 4 hours, which is cool. But they can only visit while you're online, and they still have to be like, hey, can I come visit your teapot? And you have to, like, allow them in. They don't have the ability to, like, move anything or anything, but they can, like, poke around. There's, like, a house you can set up and, like, a field area, and then the like, higher your trust level with the guardian spirit in the teapot, the more of the, like, realm inside the teapot unlocks so that you can, like, build more stuff and lay stuff out better. It's pretty fun. One of my friends, I picked the Liyue mountainous layout. It's very nice. One of my other friends picked the, like, there's a beach layout where, like, you start higher up and you can, like, look down at the ocean, and then you slowly, like, as your realm expands, you can go closer and closer to the water. And then there's another one that looks more like the domains that the, like, Adepti open up for you sometimes to run around in. So it's got, like, the floating gold, what are they called? Pathways and stuff. It's neat. It's been neat. It's been really fun. I'm really liking it, oddly enough. I'm enjoying, like, setting up my own little place. But yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying the update. I continue to enjoy the update. They also gave us a second Zhongli quest, like Act 2 of his story, which is cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I just started it before the show today. I'll have it finished by next week. It'll be neat. I already know it's neat because all the story quests are pretty neat. And they added a chapter 2 to Noelle's, like, little dating sim hangout event, and they added the first section for Diona. So that's fun. That's all the Genshin updates.
Okay.
One day I'll be able to be like, hey, I'm gonna come in and just absolutely wreck face, and it'll be great. Okay,
so we had an update for Monster Hunter. It's the big 2.0 update. And, they added, some familiar monsters. They added Chameleos, which is a giant poisonous chameleon, and its big thing is that it spits poison and it can turn invisible. It still stole things from you like it did in previous games, but it didn't steal like my most valuable items. Instead, it steals like the spirit birds, which are like the things that you can pick up for like permanent stat boost for the duration of the quest. So it was like stealing defense from me, which was kind of nuts. And that was a pretty cool fight. And then one of the things that they didn't like talk about in the update is that they added Basil Juice back, or, you know, the B-52 as we call them, because it just like floats around and drops like bombs on shit. It's actually a pretty good fight. It's not incredibly crazy because of like how much better movement feels in this particular game in comparison to say like Monster Hunter World. A lot of like the ways that you would get like trapped or like, you know, chain stunned or whatever doesn't seem to be that big of a deal here. I've fought the 2 classic Elder Dragons, Kushla Diora, which is a giant steel-plated wyvern that makes like, you know, cyclones and tornadoes and shit. And that was a really fun fight with like the game's like new movement mechanics and whatnot. And the monster has a different moveset. It doesn't spend like 80% of the time in the air, which was, you know, previously just frustrating because it was almost impossible to hit before. It spends a lot more time on the ground, but it's a lot more dynamic in its movement. It'll like do these sort of like dive kicks and like flips and like fire off projectiles and stuff. And that was really fun to do. I also fought the Teostra, which is like the companion, which is like a fire chimera that like used to coat you in something called Blast Blight. And it still has a couple moves that does do that. But Blast Blight basically puts like a debuff on you that like if you do nothing for about 12 seconds, your body will like explode or whatever. And you'll take damage for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you won't die. It's basically it coats you in like an explosive like dust. And like it'll detonate after some time. But like dealing with it was pretty simple. Like you just had to like roll or like use a deodorant. But like you had to roll like 3 times. You had to stop whatever you're doing fighting this like incredibly dangerous monster to like roll to put out the Blast Blight. Mm-hmm. But like Blast Blight is a lot less common across its attacks now. Now it does like Fire Blight, which just does like, you know, a burn effect on you, which can still be like alleviated by rolling or like using a Nullberry. But Nullberries are cheaper than deodorant. And like even then, like Fire Blight on its own isn't that big of a threat damage wise as long as you're dodging appropriately. So it's a lot more manageable than it used to be. And I think this kind of like the thesis of like this game so far. I mean, there have been some new monsters like in the base game, I guess. And like they're adding in some of the more classic like challenges that have been around before. Mm-hmm. And they all just seem easier to deal with. And it's much more about playing with the tools that you have now. This may actually be the easiest Monster Hunter game I've ever played, which I'm wrestling with a bit, but like I'm settling somewhere where it's just like, it's not exactly a bad thing. Now I have, you know, more space to like, I guess, enjoy the fights as opposed to like wondering how it's going to kick my shit in before I figure it out. And that's cool. I do hope for like more dense challenges. Like I hope there are like huge like raid encounters because there are monsters in the catalog that could fit that bill, especially with the tools that we have available to us now. And they added some QOL stuff. Like now you have like character edit vouchers. Some of them are in the cash shop, but everyone gets one for free. So like you can change your character's look at will. And layered armor has been added into the game. So like if you found like your perfect set to get all like the stats and skills that you want for your quality of life, but you think your character looks ugly, you can just paint over it now, which is cool. It's a bit more grinding, but it's nothing terrible.
That's nice, though.
There are new weapons that have showed up. There's actually a sword and shield in the game. You have to capture the high-rank flagship monster for it, but the sword and shield comes baked in with a 100% crit rate. So, like, normally, like, you have to, you know, scrounge around and do a bunch of skills to, like, ultimately put together a 100% crit rate set, but like this sword and shield just has it. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like cheating at all.
Like, it's not like sword and shield is one of those things. Like, I mean, I've said it before. Like, it's either like you've never played the game before, you've been playing for like 10 years. It's an extremely comfortable weapon because like you have access to both slashing and like bludgeoning damage, which means you can cut your own parts, but you could also stun monsters. So, like, positional priority isn't that big of a deal. Like, normally, like, for example, hammers or other bludgeoning weapons have to stand at the head because that's where they're most effective, while, like, bladed long-range weapons usually stay near the tail because, like, that's where they're the most effective. But, like, Sword and Shield can do either. They can fit into any team. They can use items while their weapon is unsheathed, which is a thing that no other weapon can do. So, like, it really looks like the beginning of, like, a dad build with this particular, like, Sword and Shield. So I'm interested to see how that shakes out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you do need to get to high rank to do it, but, like...
So you'll be there in, like, a week?
Yeah, essentially. You have to do... okay, because they added this quest with the 2.0 update, but since all you need to do is to capture a high-rank Magnum Malo, that means you do, like, the village quest by yourself or whatever, and then, like, you can start doing the high-rank hub quests, and I think, like, rank 7, so, like, maybe, like, 2 weeks of play or whatever. So, because you can't get it, like, at the beginning of the game, but, like, once you do all, like, the stuff that's, like, essentially intro to, like, how the rest of the game works, you'll get to the Magnum Malo and the real Magnum Malo fight. And then when you fight that Magnum Malo, you don't even have to kill it, you can capture it, which is faster than killing and significantly less risky. And so, like, once you cap it, then, like, here's the 100% sword, welcome to endgame, essentially.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of nice, actually.
Mm-hmm. Monster Hunter Rise seems to be pretty nice right now. I think I'm almost done with Lance. Like, I mean, because 2.0 came out, there are, like, new Lances for me to make.
Mm-hmm.
For, like, Kushala, Teostra, Basiljuice, and, like, there are some upgraded weapons that use some of their components, like the Barioth Lance, which is a nice lance, uses a Kushala Daora tail for its, like, rank 6 iteration, so, like, I gotta do that. But once I'm done with the lances, I'm going to get into Gun Lance. I've been playing around with it a little bit, and it's it's, you know, it's an anime weapon. It's a lance that can fire shells at enemies or whatever. But it actually has, like, an interesting number of combo paths that I definitely didn't think that much about before. And I did, like, a low-level hunt with, like, a friend with, like, a gun lance, just trying to feel it out. And it looks really interesting because of its combo paths and the tools that it has. Because it's still a lance. You can poke things. But it also has shells. And, like, there are specific different kinds of shells that the gun lance uses. Like, you can basically, like, pop them, like, one by one. There's an ability where you can, like, stab and just, like, burst fire all of them at once. There is a combo that, like, leads into, like, a pop with, like, 3 shells. And there's also Wyvern Fire, which is, like, a thing where you have to stand and charge for, like, 3 seconds before, like, a big, like, multi-hit explosion. And that's on, like, a 5-6 minute cooldown. But with the wire bugs, there are wire bug abilities that are specifically designed to reduce that cooldown. And there's, like, one wire bug ability that, like, gives you, like, a baked-in damage buff. It's, like, 20%. And so, like, there's a lot of different ways to play this weapon. I've been digging into it, and apparently there are 8 schools of thought on how to play the gun lance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you going to explore all 8 schools?
I'm not... One of them I definitely already know, which is called, not Slap Lance. Oh no, I already forgot what it's called. But one is basically, like, the lancing gameplay I'm used to, where, like, I know this is a gun lance. I'm only here for the extra damage. Let me just poke the thing. And then there's, like, ones where, like, okay, well, my entire playstyle is based around making the Wyvern Fire cooldown as short as possible. Or my game plan is to focus on just shelling and not worrying about my actual lance's, like, pointy bit. And, like, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's even, like, ones where it's, like, my entire strategy is based around using this one attack that deals bludgeoning damage, and I'm trying to maximize the amount of stun I'm dealing to the enemy, because even though the stunning ability does less damage than my other abilities, it leads to more knockdowns, which is ultimately a DPS buff.
Gotcha.
And apparently there are plenty of arguments about these various schools of thought, and they all seem valid. And so I'm going to spend some time with that in the coming weeks.
Okay.
I've also, you know, digging back into demos. I played a demo this past week because, you know, now that I'm investing in Kickstarters decide to, like, advertise to me specifically. And they pitched one to me. He's like, hey, this is Dead Cells meets Wizard of Legend. And I'm like, well, fuck. I really like both of those games. Let me see what this is about. So
You're like, but is it really?
yeah, I walked in with a bit of skepticism, and it turns out that's exactly what they're selling here. This game is called Astral Ascent, where you are trapped in some weird sort of purgatory with, like, people and furries, essentially, and you have, like, magical powers, and you're able to enter this, like, zone, which is, like, a procedurally generated series of, like, arenas and maps. The general idea is that, like, you're either fighting, like, a bunch of monsters in a row, like in a gauntlet, or you're in a platforming area where there are monsters and items scattered about. Each time you clear a room, you get some sort of reward that allows you to augment the spells that you have currently. But there are also things that modify your numerical stats, like increase your, like, health or, like, your dashing ability, stuff like that. But a lot of them is, like, you'll pick up a spell, which are, like, some of which are character specific for a while. Like, there's, like, the protagonist is, like, sort of like a shady, dashy assassin type. Most of their spells are, like, blade related, but they also have access to poison spells. But you can get things, for example, like your poison bomb that you throw down below you can also, like, deal electric damage in an AoE for everyone that's in the cloud. Or, like, your shuriken that you throw will also burn enemies on, like, the second turn. Like, stuff like that. You run around and you do a lot of this stuff, and apparently the areas are guarded by bosses that are essentially the Zodiac. But, like, each section, of which there are 12, if I remember correctly, is guarded by Zodiac. And some of them are, like, you know, neutral to your quest. Some of them, like, are willing to help you if you, like, finish some such trial. And some of them are just straight up bosses, like, hey, this is my domain. I can't let you pass. I'm about to wreck your shit. I spent most of my time in the Earth area, which Taurus seemed to not really give a shit about what I was doing. Virgo found me curious and decided to test me, and Capricorn was definitely dedicated to wrecking my shit. And it's cool. There are 2 playable characters in the demo, I think, but digging through the Kickstarter, there's at least 5 playable characters, and they seem neat. I'm not sure if it's my favorite thing, but it definitely seems like something that's worth fucking with. I think their Kickstarter is actually done now, but they got funded something like 6 times over. So look forward to it in the future. I've also, like, dug back into an Unbeatable arcade mix because they're running a sort of, like, fan contest where, like, you can record your gameplay and send it into them on these particular songs, and, like, the highest scores will net you some cool merch or even, like, a demo tape. They're actually giving away, like, a cassette tape or whatever for it.
Oh, that's cool.
And what that told me, reading through this notice, is that the songs have difficulty levels, which I did not know before. So I was playing everything on, like, tutorial and, like, easy mode. And I was still having fun, but I just, like, didn't know that there was, like, harder levels to it. Every, like, song seems to culminate in a difficulty level called, you know, Unbeatable. And it's pretty nuts. It's definitely, like, some max mode shit. And messing around with the Unbeatable levels taught me that I was playing the game wrong because I was only playing with one hand, and I should have been using 2.
Yeah.
So I turned down the difficulties. You know, I worked my way up from, like, normal to hard. And I don't have an Unbeatable clear yet on any of the songs, so I probably won't be submitting to the contest. But the rhythms that, like, the game has you, like, do are fun and catchy. And the way that they're presented on screen, because, like, they're not just, like, buttons for you to press to, like, hit the thing. Because before I remember talking about how, like, sometimes there are obstacles that you have to jump over or whatever, or get out of the way of, essentially. And those are also in rhythm. So, like, your key tabs are still, like, doing the rhythm along with the song. So that still feels good, but you're not always just hitting the thing. And, like, it's a fresh interaction in, like, a game like this that I feel like it was presented in a novel way. I think Unbeatable's Kickstarter still has like another week on it. But either way, Unbeatable Arcade Mix, which is the demo version of the game, which is fully functional, by the way, is available on the Kickstarter and on their itch page. If anyone has a PC, I sincerely suggest that you check it out. I've been meaning to get around to like streaming a bit of it, just so like I can have a video that people can look at. But it's very, very cool. The last thing that I'll talk about that doesn't overlap with anyone else is the talk of like swipe games last week got me back into swipe games. And so I played through Reigns Her Majesty, which is the Reigns game that I didn't play before, which is a shame because it's the one that was actually critically acclaimed. It starts off something that seems kind of basic, like you're a foreign queen brought into this kingdom, but you're also like being goaded by some supernatural force called the All-Mother that's trying to get you to reclaim her crown by causing a solar eclipse. And to help you in your quest is that she's given you functional like reincarnation. So like you're not immortal. Like in fact, you die early and often, but every time you die, you reincarnate as like a new queen with a different name, but it's still you. It has like the classic Reigns like decision-making gameplay with the swipes, but there's also like little mini games. Like there's a duel mechanic that is played through with like the swipes, and there are like little things like the coronation ceremony where you have to do certain things in addition to just like make decisions via swipes. The item system is actually really interesting, and I got to like the true ending, which is like incredibly meta, like to the point where I have to take my items and turn them into things that should not exist in this particular time, even if you make it to like 2000 or whatever. Tegan, I had a dueling pistol, which allowed me to do duels, but I later got to turn it into a regular like revolver, like a real gun pistol. And then ultimately, by the end of the game, when I was digging for like the final ending, I was able to turn my revolver into a gun emoji, which allowed me to fight the All-Mother. And there's more stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
Reigns Her Majesty is a really good-ass video game that definitely got its flowers when it showed up, but it probably deserved to be bigger. It's $3 on like any app store. Fuck with it. It's worth the time.
So, let's talk swiping. Like, I feel like that's a good segue.
Okay.
Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dating aliens and animals.
For sure.
And it has been a wild fucking ride.
No, yeah, I get that. That makes sense to me.
I think that you've also been dating aliens and animals?
Yeah, but I am currently on a break from online alien dating.
Oh my god, alright. Ooh, Jesus fucking Christ. This game comes for you.
Brad, you need to take a step back. You gotta bring the people where we are.
You haven't actually said the name of the game.
Okay. Tender creature comforts will aim to, if not literally destroy you, at least emotionally destroy you. Emotionally destroying you is the bare minimum that this game shoots for.
I think you and I had similar experiences, but I think you have more than me. So let me just try to fill in where I ended up going.
Okay.
So I actually went on 2 dates. I was involved with a couple of creatures and whatnot. My first date was very tame. It was just someone showing me around Comfortix. We went for a walk. We laid down in a park. We chatted a bit. She decided she needed to protect her emotional energy and seek someone that's also looking for romantic fulfillment at this particular time. And so that was the end of our relationship. And then I met Jackie. Jackie definitely left a scar. Jackie is actually I think she's actually on like the main like splash page for the game.
Yeah.
She wears overalls and whatnot. She's I know she has a job. I don't remember what she actually said that she did, but she also has a band. I know that she wanted to go to college for like opera singing, but she didn't want to be the best because, who wants to be the best? Sounds like a pain in the ass. And I was really vibing with Jackie. I had a great time. My intuitive responses seemed like well received. Then like, I think maybe after like 2-3 days of talking to her, she hits me with say, hey, I need to tell you something. And I hope you can appreciate me being honest with you because I really like talking with you. And I'm like, okay, well, what is this? And then she tells me that she has a partner, a romantic partner. And, trying to keep my cool, I respond like, well, is it serious? And then she says, well, we've been together for 6 years, but we're in a bad spot right now. And I was just like, well, fuck. I really like Jackie, but now I don't want to date her at all anymore. This is fucking bullshit. And so then, started, going scorch earth, just setting up a bunch of different dates to get this out of my mind. And I ended up going to a dinner date, to a taco stand. Bran, you know her name, I don't.
Oh shit. Let me pull up my Visa.
Okay.
Dana.
Fuck. Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I was going to go to a taco date with Dana. She had a taco truck she wanted to show me. And I go there, and, the game asked me if I want vegetarian or carnitas tacos. And, on a normal day, I'd take carnitas. But I couldn't remember at the moment. I was paying less attention, to, protect my emotional energy after Jackie or whatever. AJ, if you will. And so I couldn't remember if she said she was a vegetarian or not. So I picked the vegetarian tacos because I can eat vegetarian tacos. And then, we have a bit of conversation as I eat my tacos. She doesn't eat her tacos. She says she has other dinner plans, apparently.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there, and I finish my tacos, and she's like, finally, I'm starving. And I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, you didn't see on my profile? I'm such acronym. It means that I eat humans. I thought you knew. And I was just like, well, I didn't. And I would appreciate it if you didn't eat me. And she's just like, oh, well, this is awkward because I didn't make any other dinner plans. I'm still going to have to eat you. And now I'm running through the streets of Comfortix, apparently for my fucking life, because Dana has decided that she's going to consume me for dinner. And, I'm running through the streets. I run through some alleys. I climb up a fire escape. I jump over a fence. And then the game gives me another binary choice, which is to go into an open restaurant or run into an alley. And I go into the restaurant.
Oh, no.
And the maitre d' asks me, excuse me, do you have a reservation? And I say, help. My date is trying to eat me. The maitre d' responds, is that the name on the reservation? And I'm like, dude,
what
please.
an idiot!
Dude,
What a fool!
My God.
And then, Dana catches up to me, and she's like, you're just making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. And it's like, I don't want to be your dinner. And then she unhinges her jaw and eats me. The maitre d' does not interact with the situation at all. GG's. I lose. I'm dead. I have to restart my Tinder profile.
Oh, man.
I've since been taken.
That's wild.
Oh, my God. So I also went on a date with Dana.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I went on a date with Dana was I had 2 dates that were bad.
Sure.
Actually, in a row. Actually, I'll say I had 3 dates that were bad in a row. But
damn.
I had the bad date with Marina, and after I had the bad date with Marina, I reached out to my Comfortix representative Annie, and I'm like, Annie, this date went for shit.
And she's like, oh, well, think of all the things that you did wrong.
Yeah. And I'm like, God. And so then, after that, I was like, I need to be pickier. And so I went on a date with Remy, and my date with, Remy went, really well.
Okay.
It was, fucking great. And, all I'm going to say is that, date number 1 with Remy can get pretty fucking hot. And
cool.
Yeah. And so then, when I get back into chat and I start messaging Remy again, Remy essentially ghosts me.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a bummer. And I was like, I'm sad. This game has made me sad. Remy ghosted me.
Just like real Tinder. Jesus.
Yeah, so then I went on a date with Jan, where we went to the mall, and Jan revealed herself to be this weird, emotionally distant person who was disappointed that I wasn't mean enough.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the food court, and there were multiple opportunities to be shitty to people, getting a table at the food court or being terrible to service people. And she's like, why aren't you ruder, essentially?
All right.
And I'm like, what is your vibe? And when I got back for the date, she's like, you're not what I'm looking for, and already unmatched me. And I'm like, that's fine. You're not what I'm looking for either. And so I had been chatting with Dana, and like the chat with Dana was for the most part like very just like lightly flirty.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go on a date. And oh my gosh, like, so when I got to the run down the alley or go in the restaurant, I was like, fuck, I'm going down the alley. And then like there was a fence I jumped over, and I jumped over the fence, and then I ended up like running down a cell. It's like you could either like spill out onto the street or go down like a subway opening. And I went into the subway, and it was like you could either use your subway pass for comfort ticks, or you can jump the turnstile. And like I used my subway pass. And Dana got to the turnstile, and she like fumbled for her money to like get through the turnstile. And by the time she did, like the doors had closed on the train and pulled away. So like there was like, yeah. So there was like hungry Dana, like it's like I escaped. And so like when I got back home and opened up Tinder, like I had a response from Dana. She's like, you're irresponsible and like emotionally unavailable, and like you don't know what you do to people, and this isn't going to work. And then Dana unmatched me.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Right, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck yourself. You tried to eat me. Like
you tried to eat me, Dana. Dana
like,
succeeded in eating me. Whatever, it's fine.
But like one of the things that like absolutely wows me is just like how like. It feels like a couple weeks in a row on this show, like I have just encountered games which have had just the most amazing writing, right? You know, like Day Repeat Day and Tender Creature Comforts have had just some of the best writing, just like absolutely amazing writing. The characters in Tender Creature Comforts feel so fully realized. It is very, very easy for your brain to start like delivering emotional responses in this game like you're talking to real people.
Right.
Talking to Jackie now makes me feel kind of sad, you know?
Yeah. There was like a whole thing, like, okay, so I found out about the thing, right? About like her she tells me about her partner, and like, I'm like, okay, no, I get that. And she's like, what she's really doing, which is still pretty manipulative, but maybe not in like an especially egregious way, is that she no longer is able to have like her emotional needs met within her relationship.
Right.
So she's on Tinder to talk with strangers to meet those needs.
Right.
I get that. And like, I don't think she's being like dishonest with her partner. I don't think that's what it is. But like, I do feel like that this is sort of out of bounds on a relationship. And I remember sitting there at the time, you know, before I died, thinking about like, do I unmatch Jackie now? What she's doing is that she's trying to talk to people. And truth is, if she doesn't talk to me, she's going to talk to somebody else. That's just how it's going to go.
Right.
So like me, like cutting her off here is basically, it would be simply for my benefit.
Right.
It wouldn't be on any like larger scale thing. And the fact that she's been in this relationship and she isn't actually available made me feel weird and sad. I don't know if I was like continually harming myself by continuing to talk to her. One of the things that really stood out to me is that like a couple of days after that, like she checks in like when she's at work or whatever, and she like thanks me for not lashing out. And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, there's definitely people that would have lashed out on the situation. Like I wouldn't have done it, but I get that. Like, holy shit.
Rocky, did you swipe right on Chelsea?
No.
I did.
Okay.
And so Chelsea caught my attention because Chelsea is also depicted wearing like a spacesuit, you know, kind of like your user picture, right?
Right.
Chelsea is also in a spacesuit. And there are a few profiles which are like explicitly like pictures of humans, but Chelsea is also a person like wearing a spacesuit. And so, like, I swiped right on Chelsea. Okay. And the message when you swipe right on Chelsea was, I wasn't sure you'd swipe right on me. And which point you discover that Chelsea is your ex.
Oh, okay. So your ex is, like, populated by, like... No, I know what that is. Her name wasn't Chelsea for me. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Because, like, you know, you actually type in, like, the name of your ex, like, when you're talking to Annie the first time.
Okay.
And then, like, because it's the profile that, like, reads, like, I'm right here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, like, that's, like, they ask the manipulation in this game. When you start the game, you're out of relationship, and they ask you for a name of an ex, and so you type it in, and then they populate that as, like, the ex profile in the game.
Right. Okay. Did you swipe right on your ex?
I did not, no. In fact, if that's what you were talking about when you said that you saw a human before.
No, it is not. It is not.
Okay.
Because I saw a profile, like, I think the guy's name was, like, Gideon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, so there's, like, a few humans, like, in the game. Like, but, like, I had, like, a rough conversation with my ex. Where, like, you could full on, like have the, like, let's go ahead and have our last argument. Like,
oh, fuck. No, yeah, I don't want to do any of that.
Right. And so, like, I just continue to, like, absolutely just be wowed at the level of writing. There's a character who keeps on canceling on me so that way, and, like, she gives me the same excuse every time. She's like, oh, I forgot I'm supposed to watch Downton Abbey with my mom.
Sure.
I eventually was just like, fuck off. Like, you're not even watching Downton Abbey with your mom. Like, I just called her a liar. And, like, I know she is lying. I'm like, why do you persist in making dates and then canceling them? Like, it's so weird because, like, I know that I'm reacting to this game like a game because, like, I'm engaging with the hooks that the system provides. But, like, it provokes, like, real responses. If we still organized our Game of the Year stuff around, like, having, like best new character of the year and stuff like that, I would have to submit Jackie for consideration just because, like, fuck, you know? Just
I'm actually, oh, God. Like, I messaged Tegan earlier this week because, like, Jackie sends you a message saying, like, hey, if a candle popped up outside your spaceship, what would it smell like in a dream scenario? And, like, she sends me, like, 3 options. It's, like, pink ocean, twisted, candy cane, I think.
Yep.
And unscented. And I was just like, I don't know what to say here. I don't know anything about candles, but I want this conversation to continue. So I send the screenshot of that message to Tegan, and I'm like, Tegan, I need your help. I don't know anything about candles.
Yep. Yep.
And then, like, we have a conversation about that. I make a choice. It goes well. I continue.
Yay! I'm glad it went well.
And then, like, a couple days later, she tells me about, like, her partner. And I just screenshot that, and I send that to Tegan, and I'm just like, I hate it here. And Tegan's like, I also
hate it here.
Like, it was just, ugh. Man.
Yeah. And it's also, like, one of those games where, like, it's so perfectly suited for the platform. I normally turn off push notifications for, like, every app because I know that it's, like, a thing which is designed to make your phone into a slot machine in a casino so that way you're picking it up constantly. Push notifications are bad, but, like, I deliberately left my push notifications on for this game because the game does have them. So, like, when I get, like, the push notification, which is like, Jackie sent you a message, I'm like, you know, just like...
Yeah.
There's another person which is I'm messaging with, which is, like, similar in, like, the amount of available time that they have, and that, like, it's, like, very evident that they're just, like, messaging me, like, when they're on break at work.
Right.
So, like, as far as, like, the available doses of time they have, it's similar to Jackie, but, like, it's different in, like, the type of, like, conversation I'm having with that person. And, like, it's a lot. In fact, like, we're going to have an opportunity to, like, and I will pull it up when it happens. I have a date scheduled for Hannah, right? Hannah and I are, I believe, supposed to go to a museum together.
Oh, is she the one that, like, where you did the Would You Rathers with?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. She was cool. I was looking forward to that date, you know.
And then you got 8.
You know, I got fucking eaten. God damn it.
Right. And so, like, I have a date scheduled for Hannah, and it is scheduled to happen at 12:30 my time. So the 3 of us can, together, in real time live on this podcast, go on a date in Tender Creature Comforts.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah. Hannah has tentacles. I hope she does not try and fucking kill me, you know? Like, I'm assuming the game only has 1 data, you know what I mean? Like, how many datas does your game have?
I feel like there may be at least 3, but that's a whole other thing. I need to do more research. Brian, talk to us about a different game.
Sure, yeah. I've also been playing a game called Hicks.
Okay.
A phrase I try and avoid using, because I think a lot of people overuse it, is this game would be perfect on Switch.
Sure.
This game would be perfect on Switch.
Okay.
It shows you like a map grid where like all of the pieces of the map are hexagons, and you'll see like multiple points of traffic that have to travel from like, say, one side of the grid to the other. Like different colors of highways. Maybe there's a river, like maybe there's a ravine, and you have to rearrange the tiles in the grid so that way all of the roads can connect. And it has this like motif where you're kind of like a Grecian looking angel dude, and there's like an angry devil. And the angry devil pouts as you get hexagons in the right place and like tries to throw stuff down on the map to confuse you. Okay. So you have to get all of the various types of things to connect. And the way the game keeps its hooks in you is like the maps get increasingly complex by like adding more types of roads, by increasing the size of the grid, by changing the general appearance of the grid. Like, so you'll move from like world type to world type. Like the first is like kind of like a very general like forest theme, and now like I'm in a world where they're like candy theming to the world. I want to say that like the look of the game is both like low poly but like very polished. Like things have like deliberately sharp angles. Like, so there's like lots of very deliberately sharp angles, but everything looks very, very refined in its presentation.
For sure.
The music is very charming. Like the animations are very, very charming. And it's incredibly bulky for like what it is. Like there are 6 worlds in the game, and each world has like 30 puzzles to solve. So like I've been like dumping a lot of time into it, really digging it. And I think that because of like the way it works, like it would map very, very easily to the Switch. Like let people play with like touch controls when it's in handheld mode, and it'd be very, very easy to do the tile switching with the Joy-Cons. So come on, Hicks devs, think about it. Also been playing a game called Dicey Elementalist. And Dicey Elementalist is a roguelike where the central combat mechanic is playing Yahtzee.
Okay.
So, like, you select a character class at the beginning of the game, and the different character classes have, like, different, like, buffs. And they follow the general rules, like most fantasy games. Like, your fighters have, like, greater HP. One of the things that, like, the rogue class can do is once per turn ignore the requirements of a card to play it. Like, they roll, so you roll your 5 dice, and then you see like an array of cards that you have in your inventory, and you have to match the dice that you've rolled to the cards in order to play them. The rogue is able to ignore the requirements of like a card to play it once per turn. And so you get 3 rerolls per turn. And as you proceed through the adventure, you acquire new cards, and then you have to like pull cards out of your inventory and like balance your card set. Every so often you come to an inn where you can like potentially refill your health, but you have to like compete with the innkeeper to do so. There's acquiring loots, which loot can like change what die you roll, loot can change what buffs you have, loot can change what cards you have. And a lot like Dead Cells or Rogue Legacy, there's persistent stuff that carries over between runs. There's not that feeling of you get fucked and you're like, well, I guess that was time I just spent.
Right.
There's not that feeling of like total desperation, like when you have a run go sideways on you. Something I really like about this game is like I really like the art style. It reminds me a lot, like as far as the art goes, of like modern Cartoon Network shows, or like say Grind.
It's very Adventure Time, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has that look. It has like an Adventure Time look. Music's good, the enemy design is good. So far, I've seen like a real diversity to the enemy. Very, very rarely seen like the same monster twice in my runs. There's a lot of like risk reward choices in like your pathing through to get to like the final dungeon boss at the end of runs, where you're like, oh, okay, like I can either choose to like face a monster next, or I can choose to go into a room which might have a reward in it, but if I go into the room which might have a reward in it, that's like less opportunity to like buff myself before I get to the final dungeon if that room doesn't actually have a reward. So like lots of good like choice stuff. It's interesting to like play something where it marries card strategy to dice strategy and has like this like strong fantasy aesthetic. The game is currently in like a soft launch, and it will like full launch this coming Thursday. And like so far, I'm really digging it. So like expect to hear more about this thing.
All right.
Also playing a game called Pew Pew Live. Pew Pew Live is a twin stick arcade shooter. And if I say Jeff Minter to y'all, do either of you know who that is? Does that ring bells?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Jeff Minter is a game designer, which is like favored by old men like me. Jeff Minter like designed games like Tempest 2000 and TXK and Polybius and Moose Life. Like he's one of those guys. Like so like these like very bright, colorful, like melt your brain shooter games. This Pew Pew Live has such a strong Jeff Minter vibe. Like very strong Jeff Minter vibe. And what's cool about it is that like it has like very, very good tools for like designing your own shooter game within it. You're like, yay, I'm gonna make a shooter, and then I'm gonna put my shooter online and other people can play my shooter. And so like this is like scratching multiple itches for me because it's got like game creation stuff like Super Mario Maker, but also that like very chill combination of like pulsing color and shooting that like Tempest 2000 would have. So like I'm melting my brain and playing like chill out shooters and also like designing levels and stuff, which is fun. The guy who developed this, Jean-Francois Galine, he's like, I put the game out for free. I don't give a fuck. Like this game costs nothing. It is entirely free. There's no catch. There's no like give me money later to do X. There's no this one feature hides behind a wall. There's no like this is a limited time trial and then you have to pay for it when the trial expires. No, just it's entirely free, which I guess is feasible right now because the player count is like comparatively low, which is why I can like afford to have server support for like player created content. But it seems like a fair number of players are embracing it. Like I'm finding like new levels like all the time. Like so I guess whatever his ultimate plans are to monetize, like I hope they go well because like he definitely managed to make a fan in me. The last game that I want to talk about is a game that I think Rocky was trying to point me toward, but I'm not sure. Rocky sent me a TikTok, which was I was supposed to be about a video game about being aboard the Titanic when it was sinking.
Oh, yeah, I just thought you'd find it interesting.
Right. And like I was not able to discern the name of the game from the TikTok.
Oh yeah, rip.
Which is like a recurring problem with a lot of like game themed TikToks because the person who makes the TikTok is more interested in getting views for their TikTok than actually like conveying information about the game, you know? And so like here's Brian like searching left and right, being like, Titanic sinking game. Game about sinking on the Titanic. Switch Titanic. Titanic switch. Titanic switch sinking. Titanic switch 2020. Titanic switch 2021. Sinking Titanic 2021. So like, you know, like I'm just out here like trying to find a game about being aboard the Titanic when it's sinking, but then like lo and behold, an entirely different game about being aboard a ship while it's sinking comes out, and like I end up getting it because I'm like, is this the Titanic sinking game?
Hmm.
It is a first-person survival horror game about being aboard a ship in 1917 while it's sinking, while you're locked under decks. So, like, it's weird because, like, the premise is, like, remarkably similar. But, like, in this game, the ship that you're on has been shot by the Germans. So it's no iceberg here. And it's a very, very oppressive, lonely experience as you try and, like, find a way to get above deck and save yourself with, like, water slowly rising. I still cannot, for the life of me, find this fucking Titanic game in that TikTok.
Finally, we'll send it to you later.
Okay. Because I do find, like, the Titanic as a springboard for game design is also interesting. Like, there have been a lot of video games made over the last, like, 35 plus years about the Titanic. And so just always seeing, like, how that's executed differently, it is an interesting thing to me. This particular game, Under Depths of Fear, which is available for Switch, is so far, as near as I can tell, a game where the only enemy that I've encountered is slowly rising water. I do suspect that there may be hostile elements still locked beneath deck with me, and the reason for that is, like, the way that the very beginning of the game features your character being dragged to a room by two other people, and you can hear them talking, and it's, like, very evident that you've been, like, knocked over the head. And so I get the impression that, like, what happened is that, like, these people hit me over the head in a effort, like, for there's some reason that they view hitting me over the head as self-preservation, right?
Hmm.
And so, like, that's a plot piece that I guess I'm trying to uncover. And I also, like, occasionally hear noises from somewhere else under deck, and I don't know if the noises I'm hearing are just, like, sounds caused by the boat slowly sinking, or if they are other people who are moving. There was definitely something I heard which I thought sounded like footsteps.
Hmm.
So, like, there is also that, like, rising, creeping dread. So they're doing the survival horror thing right. And I watched a movie. And the movie was called Max Reload and the Nether Blasters. I could not feel more personally targeted by a motion picture than this. So this movie is about a trio of 20-somethings who work at their local cool, hip, retro video game store.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, a scene very early in the film where, like, the three of them are, like, standing around, like, not really working at work, having a debate about who is the greatest video game developer of all time. The scene exists in order to have dialogue about a character who will emerge in the film, who is, like, a developer who lives in town and has now become a recluse after their video game studio, like, burned down in 1983. But, like, the way that they, like, build and color the world feels very much like game collecting and game playing culture, and especially, like, retro game culture. There's a moment when, like, people are running from, like, possessed demon people later in the film where, like, a character tells someone that they're, like, pretty handy and that they're good with fixing things. They're like, I'm pretty handy. And the person's like, really? And, like, the response is like, yeah, I've saved a couple Red Ring Xboxes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's a line that will pop some people. Like, that will get a chuckle from some folks. Like,
Right.
like, you know. And I had never heard of this movie, like, at all. And it was entirely shot in Phoenix, Arizona.
That's cool.
Yeah. The Cool Video Game Shop is, in fact, the Cool Video Game Shop, like, here in town. Like, oh, fuck, that's Fallout. Part of the plot of the movie is there's this, like, dynamic video game development team that, like, broke up when their studio burned down in 1983. And, like, one of them has been in seclusion ever since and nobody knows what he's doing. And the other one now, like, runs an arcade. There's like the scenes where like the heroes go to Cobra Arcade, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's Cobra Arcade. And it's just like wild to like see this like pretty well produced, cool movie about this like high fantasy adventure story with like very 80s tones made here. Like, oh look, it's my town. This is where I live. Like, this is a cool adventure movie, and it happens where I live. Like at one point, like there's like a Circle K in the background. I'm like, oh fuck, like I've gotten me some like frozen drinks at that Circle K. I also definitely want to like make sure that like I stress that this is not like a movie that was like made for $1 by some like yahoos with like a camcorder. You know, the guy who owns the cool video game store is like played by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
The guy who is the video game developer who's been in a recluse for like years is played by Greg Grunberg. The love interest and one of the characters who like works at the counter at the game store is on like the show Tacoma FD and on Yellowstone. The main character's like granddad is played by Martin Cove. They definitely like rustled up some money. I'm not sure where all that money came from, but like somebody clearly filled like a decently sized sack of money because they were able to like cast real people in this movie and have like decent effects and stuff. So like good for them. Like a cool movie about video games and stuff, and it happened here. It's also on Prime right now, too. So, like, if you happen to have Prime... Oh, and by the way, my opinions are my own. They are not those of Amazon. I just happen to be letting you know that if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch this movie right now at no additional cost.
For sure.
Yeah. And everybody, it's 12:30. It's time to go on a date. Live dating by committee. I meet Hannah outside the Museum of Earth. Choices. I go for a hug. I wave to her.
Wave.
I wave to her. She smiles and gives me a tight hug.
Nice.
Yeah, we head inside together. There is a display case with a toothbrush in it. Choices. Have you been here before? Or I hope there's nothing about me in here.
Have you been here before?
Okay. Response. A few times. I love museums and Earth. We approach the front desk. Okay. Welcome. Are you human? A ticket agent smiles at me. Responses are, I am human, and I only look human.
Say I only look human.
Desk agent says, never mind. We were giving a 5% Earthling discount.
Oof.
We grab the tickets and head to the elevator. Choices. Where should we start? And... looks like there's a few exhibits.
That doesn't sound like an option.
I kind of like where should we...
It's the same thing phrased two different ways.
I know, but like Hannah says she's been here a few times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so where should we start, I guess?
Okay. She replies, I'll go wherever you want. So now the choices are, let's do the modern dinosaur section, and... how about the Musk Bezos Space War Memorial?
Oh, gross. No. The modern dinosaurs. That sounds way cooler.
Let's do the modern dinosaur section. She replies, you're the expert. We head to the dinosaurs. I can either say, so Earth is a planet in the Milky Way galaxy, or have you ever visited Earth?
Ask her if she's ever visited.
I was going to say, the first one feels like mansplaining the location of Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. We visited my uncle after he retired. The weather was terrible.
Sounds about right.
A guard at the exhibit entrance motions. No photographs of the artwork, please. I can either say, I already have plenty of Earth photos, or thanks.
Thanks.
We wander, drifting apart to look at the exhibit. Why did the second wave of dinosaurs appear again? I only have one possible response. There was a series of movies, and then everything spiraled out of control.
Jurassic Park!
Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right. Hannah starts to take some photos with her phone. I can either say, I don't think you should do that, or I can say, let me cover you.
Be cool. Say, let me cover you.
Okay.
I was gonna narc.
God damn it, Tegan. Not date.
She replies, super. We head into the second room and start looking around. Hannah comes back and places her hand on my back. I walk away, or I stand still.
She's gonna kill you in here.
Mm.
Do whatever you want, dude.
Rocky.
Just stand still.
All Okay. She pats me twice. I can either sit on a bench for a minute or look at an interactive hologram.
Fuck with the hologram.
Earth was discovered by Zegrorb, a well-known explorer. She walks back over. And then she asks, how long were you alive on Earth again? And I can either respond with more than 18 years or I'm 31.
Just say more than 18 years.
Yeah, more than 18 years.
She says, Earth years are meaningless to me. She takes a picture of me, looks at it, and then clicks a button.
That's not weird.
Yeah. I can either say to her, is a museum your favorite first date? Or I could say, feels kind of weird being in this museum.
I mean, I was going to say that before, actually. Just say it's weird. It feels weird to be in the museum because it is.
Yep. She says, sorry, I thought it would make you comfortable.
Oh, God.
She knocks on one of the... Yeah.
She's a human fetishist. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. She knocks on one of the glass pieces.
Touch the glass stuff.
I can either say, careful, that's my great-great-great-grandfather. Or I could say, I'm ready for the next exhibit.
Ready for the next exhibit.
Okay.
Probably should have been like, is this your favorite first date location? Woo.
Before Hannah can respond, a security guard walks over. Excuse me, I'll need you to delete the photos you took. I stand awkwardly.
Fucking told ya. I shouldn't have been taking the goddamn photos.
Hannah says, I have an actual human with me. Their authority supersedes yours.
Does it?
The guard turns to me and says, is it okay if she takes pictures? I can either say, yes, or I have to consult with the Earth Copyright Group.
Yes. Just say yes. You already covered for her once.
Right. Guard replies, my apologies. He leaves. Hannah says, that was close. Let's go to the cafe. We go to the cafe. We head downstairs and walk up to the counter. Your choices are order an overpriced salad or order an overpriced bubbly water.
Aren't they both the same?
I feel like salad is committing to a longer date. If this is meal versus beverage, the choice.
I guess. Salad you could eat pretty fast.
True. Okay, I went salad. Hannah grabs a cookie. We sit down. Choices. We should try some other museums, or I've never been a museum person.
We should try some other museums.
Okay.
She already said she likes museums.
She says, yeah. I eat a few bites of salad. You could either ask her, what else do you like to do, or do you have any fun plans this week?
Just ask her about what she likes to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I love going to wacky art shows. Last week I saw this piece, an old woman in a bathing suit, and I was the only audience member. I can reply either, I'd love to go to a wacky art piece, or why a bathing suit?
I mean, those are both sure statements. I'd love to go to a wacky art. We want to date her, right?
That's why we're here.
We want to date her? Yeah, okay. I'd love to go to a wacky art thing.
She says, yeah. And grabs some napkins from a nearby table.
Is that good or bad? I don't know how this date
So then, I ask her, would you rather always have hiccups or always need to sneeze? Or I could say, would you rather you or the love of your life die first? So my choices are to give her two would you rathers.
Hiccups or sneeze, Jesus.
Yeah. Some context, Tegan, this is how you start talking to this person. Like when you're just chatting with him on Tinder, the way your conversation with him started was with would you rathers.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
She replies with, we did enough of those already.
Oh, fuck. Game up.
Yeah, we finish and leave the table. Choices are, should we hit another exhibit, or this was cool. I felt close to home.
I feel like either way the date's about to end.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with I felt close to home because I think that's blowing some smoke up her ass and telling her that this was a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. She replies, I learned a lot. You can then say, thanks for showing me this place. I'll definitely come back. Or let me know if you do any cool art things.
Let me know if you do any cool art things.
Right.
She replies, I'll text you. She leaves from the cafeteria. I depart. The date ends.
That sounds better. I think it went okay.
I don't think it
She just messaged me.
Okay.
What'd she say?
We don't click.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which I could reply with, okay, thanks for telling me, or I agree, or I love that Adam Sandler movie, though.
Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, Jesus.
Why are half the answers in this thing fucking weird?
Because half of the answers in life are weird, Tegan. Oh, okay. So
how I don't know how we would have made that go better.
that's also part of the point. Sometimes there is no way to make it better. Like, Dana will always try to eat you because she is a person who she's a creature that always try to ingest humans. Like, sometimes people don't fucking click. And that's one of the things that this game is trying to, like, convey the experience of. Like, there are characters that you will meet who just, like, straight up want to fuck you and have, like, no interest in, like, building, like, a larger emotional relationship. And then there's characters who, like, are very cautious about exposing themselves emotionally. And then you have characters like Jackie who are just like, I want to drain you of your emotional energy because, like, I'm unwilling to work on my relationship. There was somebody who just came after me last week and was just, like, vicious in chat. Like, the only reason that they matched me was to say the most horrible things. And, like, I think I said, like, just the Dark Souls you died to, like, our group chat when that happened. Just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, you literally only matched me to be awful.
Oof.
They said a bunch of garbage and then immediately unmatched me so I couldn't even respond. So that's the thing.
Mean.
Yeah.
Why do people be mean? I don't get it.
I do want to talk a little bit about my favorite thing. Capcom apparently has a slightly different strategy for trying to convince people to buy Resident Evil Village in Japan than they do in the United States.
Sure.
And the strategy includes this fucking puppet show. It's a puppet show.
It's a puppet show.
If you want to see the Lady Dimitrescu puppet, if you want to see a bunch of Resident Evil Village puppets singing and dancing...
Yep. Yeah, this sounds like... Yeah, this is Japanese advertising for sure.
These puppets are fucking adorable. I don't know if you have enough Japanese, Tegan, to, like, get what the fuck is going on in this thing. I can tell you that Lady Dimitrescu is going to, like, paint with buckets full of blood while being, like, a cute little puppet. But these puppets are great. The puppets, I guess, ended up being more popular than they anticipated, and Capcom's like, hey, if you liked the puppets, don't worry, we're going to release another episode of the Puppet Adventures on the day before launch. So May 7th, we'll get some more of these puppets. So, like...
That's good. Well, I'm glad.
I don't know if y'all had seen this, but, like, it's great. I think I'll put it up on the Twitter. I don't know how, like, they managed to, like, make Resident Evil Village cute, but they did. The singing is great. There's this point where, like, Lady Dimitrescu puppet, like, just drinks the bucket full of blood that she's been painting with, and she, like, zones out, and her eyes roll back, and it's, like, very, like, goofy puppet shit. So if you want to see something funny and cute and silly, this Resident Evil Village gory puppet show is definitely a way to go. Lots of singing and dancing for everyone. Do we want to talk about some stuff which is inevitably terrible?
Yeah, sure. We need a call to action, though. Anyone have one?
Well, first of all, I'm going to thank the person who responded to last week's call to action. I did, in fact, get a cursed Roblox game.
For sure.
Yes.
What game did you get?
It's called Border Protection Agent.
There it is.
And there's a fucking fence, there's a wall, and you're the border protection agent, and it's a multiplayer space, and so one person is the border agent, and other people are trying to run across the border into the United States. And on a scale of incidentally racist to super mega fucking racist, I give this game a super mega fucking racist. Oh my god. Like, Roblox is like this terrible Wild West where, like, everything is possible, and sometimes the things that happen are very bad. This was one of those. I mean, I specifically said cursed.
You did, yeah. I think that's a 100% success.
Right. So, I'll put it this way. If you could send me things that won't make me any sadder, I'll appreciate that. So, how about this? I'll revise. Send me your weirdest Roblox. Like, I don't necessarily need cursed. Just send me your weirdest Roblox. Also, watch this goofy fucking Resident Evil Village video. How about that?
So, Our first story is, significantly disappointing. SEGA is getting into NFTs. They have partnered with a company called DoubleJump.Tokyo company. We have a quote from their press release. It's kind of long. SEGA Company Limited will start selling NFT digital content utilizing blockchain technology in collaboration with DoubleJump around the summer of 2021. In this initiative, many classic IP, which were developed in the hardware released by SEGA in the past and are still very popular all over the world, are rich in digital such as visual art at the time of release, images used in the game, and background music. We will sell the assets as NFT content in sequence. In addition, starting with this, we are planning to develop various NFT content in the IPs currently being developed, as well also in new IP to be released. And in the future, we will effectively utilize the NFT content owned by users. We will also seek services that you can enjoy even more. Furthermore, Sega Sammy Holdings Incorporated has decided to invest in Double Jump Tokyo Limited, taking this initiative as an opportunity. The NFT market is growing rapidly and expected to grow significantly in the future. The company already has a wealth of experience in the NFT market. I don't know how that's fucking possible. Sorry. And this investment will further strengthen the relationship between the two companies. Through this initiative, we will accumulate knowledge on the blockchain, promote aggressive business development beyond NFT using blockchain technology, increase the possibility of games, and aim for users all over the world. We will create a new moving experience. End quote. So, for people who've been hearing people yell about NFTs, the short version is that they are a receipt of purchase that is attached to some sort of digital art, like a JPEG, for example. It doesn't mean you own the JPEG. In fact, it's very easy for anyone else to own the JPEG while you still own the NFT. And it doesn't mean that it's not reproducible, because once again, since it's a JPEG, I could just copy the image and put it somewhere else. It doesn't give you any sort of rights or anything, but apparently it can be exchanged for money. But more importantly, because it works off of the blockchain, it requires an incredible amount of energy to be used to create and also maintain, which is almost certainly just going to have devastating environmental impact in the future.
I think a thing which exhausts me and makes me so tired about this story in particular is that Sega of America and Sega of Europe continue to be operated with a great deal of autonomy and independence from Sega of Japan, which is the historical model for Sega as a company. If you say look at Nintendo of America does not fart without Nintendo of Japan authorizing the passing of gas. It's just how Nintendo works. It's a very top-down structure with Nintendo of Japan at the top. Sony is a very top-down structure with Sony of America at the top, top-down structure. Sega, not so much. The various independent parts of Sega just do what they want without much direct oversight and control within the bodies. Sometimes this works out. Please see Atlas. I think everybody is happy that nobody necessarily tells Atlas what to do. And Sega of America and Sega of Europe have taken very committed and vocal positions about this kind of stuff. Within the last fucking 2 weeks, Sega of America was hey, fuck NFTs as a company position. And then along comes Sega of Japan. I was oh, whatever. So it's just this incredible dissonance between operating companies of Sega, which is this shit's been going on since the fucking Genesis. Where Sega of America is hey, we should do this, and Sega of Japan is just whatever. How is it possible that this company has continued to just be this kind of internally disorganized? How does the company live this long and be this way?
Well, to be fair, they have lost a lot.
I mean, that's true. There is no more Sega boxes underneath people's televisions.
There's barely any Sonic.
they just seem to have this like charmed existence where people are like, Jesus Christ, like, does Sega have anything of value anymore? And then like somehow something will magically do better than expected. You know, like, oh, we're Sega. We just happen to have the money laying around to buy Atlas. And because like the previous owner of Atlas was like organized crime, that was the only reason Atlas was losing money before. So like, since we're not actively criminals, we'll be fine. Or the Sonic the Hedgehog movie like outperforms everybody's expectations financially and critically, and they're like, oh, what about that? Huh, cool, neat. We have a whole bunch of Sonic movie money now. So it always feels like they just fucking luck into shit. Like they're always like 3 mistakes away from death, but then something happens to go right. I just don't fucking know. I want to talk about Riot.
Okay.
So Riot announced that they are going to actively record player voice communication in Valorant. And their statement says, in order for us to take actions against players who use voice comms to harass others, use hate speech, or otherwise disrupt your experience, we need to know what those players are saying. They wrote on their website, which is to say, moving forward, we need the ability to analyze voice data. When a player submits a report for disruptive or offensive behavior in voice comms, the relevant audio will be stored in your account's registered region and evaluated to see if our behavior agreement was violated. Owner of this week's coolest first name, West Hart, head of player dynamics, and Chris Himes, data protection officer in CISO, says that Riot is still working on the tools that will be used to evaluate audio recordings, and the process will likely be automated.
Neat.
Automated moderation always works. What are you talking about?
Tegan, I don't think you're being sincere.
I'm being so sincere. What are you talking about? This is my sincere voice.
No, it is not, Tegan. You're full of lies.
Shut up.
Hartenheim says that human moderation will play a role as they work to find the best method.
Sure.
Valorant players have been mixed about the news. Some players are glad that measures are going to be taken to curtail the game's rampant sexist, ableist, and homophobic chat. Some people have expressed hopefulness that this type of moderation will be brought to voice chat for League of Legends.
Oh, dude, could you imagine?
Man, people don't even voice chat in League of Legends. Jesus Christ.
They don't. They use Discord.
Yep.
Others expressed privacy concerns and worried that the moderation system will be used to unfairly report players for words taken out of context. And I feel like that concern does tread water when I hear that the moderation system is going to incorporate automation, right?
Sure.
But also, like, I don't know how much time in Valorant is spent with, like, randos. Like,
A lot.
how much voice chatting are you doing with randos?
A lot.
It's so gross. Oh, God. Who wants that?
No one does.
Right.
Will making toxicity something which is measurable and actionable in Valorant collapse in Valorant's player base?
No.
Okay, that sounds good.
But this is not going to work, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Right.
so we're of a mind that this does nothing.
No, it'll do something. The world before this will be different from the world after it, but it will not address this issue in any meaningful way.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right.
What do you think the net result of this is?
Okay, so the automated report system is obviously going to be weaponized, and maybe in ways that don't make the play experience better for people, but like becomes like a lesser form of swatting. The information like gleaned through like recorded audio sessions will almost certainly be sold to information brokers in some way.
The thing that I foresaw, which I thought was evil, is that like generally like the sale of data starts to hit up against EU privacy restrictions.
Right.
And, like, I'm sure that, like, Riot doesn't want to expose himself in that way. But what they could do is use monitoring of voice comm for, like, development of, like, cosmetics and shit. If somebody's like, I really wish that this character had a cool gold hat.
Oh, yeah. They just feed the data to, like, marketing or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Right.
They could do that.
Like, they don't necessarily need to sell the data in order to, like, still monetize the data. They could use the data internally and monetize it.
They're big enough to do it, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you have, like, a pie chart and it's like, looks like 43% of players want gold hats. And it's like, all right, here we go.
It's like, turns out, like, based on the voice comm chatter, it seems like people would really like it if there was, like, some sort of open world League of Legends game. And it's like, yeah, let's just make an open world, like, RPG or whatever. And they send that to R&D.
Yeah.
They work on that for 8 years.
So I guess everybody thinks that this is going to, like, take a shit.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be bad.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be gross. 0 out of 10. Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb idea. Well, okay idea. Terrible execution.
I think it's okay justification. I don't think that's their idea. I think this is a cover for something else.
For sure.
This is an empty gesture that does nothing but provide cover for evil.
Yeah. Unless there was, like, a team of human moderators who actually would go through the entire audio for the game and make sure that both people weren't being shits, like, no.
But that costs money, Tegan. It costs money.
Yeah, Riot has money. Riot has fuck you money. Like, they could absolutely do it.
Yeah.
They just won't.
It's a good thing our next story is not about an empty gesture that does absolutely nothing.
Brian, you know what we talk about on the show. It's absolutely about an empty gesture that does nothing. The CEO of Activision Blizzard has cut his salary, but he's still making too much money. CEO Bobby Kotick?
Correct. Yeah. Kotick, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I said. Has voluntarily halved his salary, as well as his target annual bonus, but he's still going to be making $875,000. The annual bonus cut is a potential reduction of $1,750,000 for fiscal years in 2021 and 2022. But, you know, he can still earn an annual bonus for those years of up to 200% of his new smaller salary, based on a bunch of factors that were laid out in a public filing. And the board of directors for Activision Blizzard said, the board worked with the company and has established a pay program for the CEO that reflects shareholder feedback, incorporates market best practices, and continues to directly connect pay to performance. The feedback that was included is, you know, irritation from shareholders over Kotick's pay being so high, saying that because, you know, people are pointing out that in 2021, you know, your Activision Blizzard employee typically earns less than 1/3 of 1% of the CEO's earnings.
Okay.
Less than 1/3 of 1%.
So I'm going to do some math on that right now.
Do some math.
Okay, so his original $875,000 is half of his original salary. So his original salary was $1.75 million. So 1.75 times 0.01 to get us to 1%, and then times 0.33 to get us to 1/3 of 1%. Yeah. I'm curious as to how that's possible, because that would mean that the salary for an employee is what, $5,775? That's not possible.
That's not right.
Okay, all right. So, $1,750,000 times 0.01 to get us to 1%. So 1% of 1.75 million is 17,500. Oh, I guess there's also his annual earnings, 1/3 of his annual earnings. Yeah. Right. And so his bonus structure gets him to 200% of his annual earnings. All right.
Yeah.
So now,
So
1.75 million times 2.
Times 3.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you can just times it by 3, because it's 200%
of his
plus
earning.
what he already makes.
So times 3 is 5.25 million. So then times 0.01 times 0.34, which means, oh my God, they're talking about an annual salary of $17,850. We're talking about people like barely making minimum wage to be a dev at Activision. Jesus fucking Christ. Walk off a cliff, Bobby Kotick.
It just has some employees, so that might not be your dev price, but that is 100% your tester price.
Yeah, definitely QA.
Like, whoever's in QA and UAT, they're not making shit, my dude. And that's not cool. You're announcing the most profitable years ever. You're making $1 bajillion yourself, and you can't pay anybody a fucking livable wage. That's garbage. Everybody there should be making a livable salary.
Like Activision has now reported its most profitable year 2 years in a row. They did it last year. They're like, most profitable year ever, and then probably.
And then they laid off a bunch of people.
And then they did it again this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Your minimum salary there should be $70,000. Like, fuck off. Fuck off, absolutely.
And, like, the thing is that everybody knows that there's more fucking layoffs coming at Activision. And, like, I think they keep on asking Kotick about it, too. And he's like, oh, you got nothing to say right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He did speak a little bit about some layoffs at the GameStop Summit the other day. And also said, there's a potential for 2,500 openings at our company. But then also, like, how are we going to get all those new hires? Dude, you aren't paying anybody any money. Maybe you should fucking increase your salary and you won't have to compete so hard against, like, Facebook and fucking Google. Fuck's sake. Why don't CEOs want to pay people money?
Because it costs money, Tegan.
Okay, nobody needs $1 million a year. Nobody needs that much.
Okay, well, Tegan, but what about the, like, various, like, funds which have bundled... What about the ETF funds that have bundled Activision into an ETF? And, like, somebody somewhere has a graph and is like, my ETF is not performing as well as it could because Activision is in the portfolio. Like,
yeah, I don't give a shit. If you have an ETF, you have too much money. You don't need to worry about it.
Would anyone like to continue to shit on Activision?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then I have some more exciting Activision news.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, effective this week, literally all 9 of the Activision branded internal studios now work on Call of Duty. All 9 of them. The last one that was not tasked with working on Call of Duty got tasked to Call of Duty this week.
Jesus.
So, Toys for Bob announced that they have been tasked with providing support on Call of Duty DLC to bring y'all up to speed about, like, hey, well, who are Toys for Bob? Allow me to refresh your memory. Toys for Bob is a very cool studio that developed the literal fucking classic Star Control. Star Control is Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob is the awesome game Pandemonium, like a PS1 and Sega Saturn classic. In more recent years, Toys for Bob developed the game Skylander, Spyro's Adventure. That's right, when Activision decided to backdoor launch a new series through the Spyro series. When they created Skylanders, it was Toys for Bob. When Activision decided to relaunch the Crash Bandicoot series, the dev that was in charge with it, which, had the incredibly heavy burden of, like, creating a Crash Bandicoot game that would, like, call to mind the original, Naughty Dog classics, was Toys for Bob. They're the team that did Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, last year. And now they're on fucking DLC support for Call of Duty. This is a thing that, like, made me bother to go pull up, like, the history of various Activision studios and, like, be sad. Treyarch, a studio which has now been doing nothing but Call of Duty for the last 10 years, is the studio that created the fucking classic Die by the Sword. The Die by the Sword people have been doing nothing but Call of Duty for 10 years. Raven Software, the people behind Hexen and Heretic, actual fucking classics. The studio that created Hexen and Heretic has been doing nothing but Call of Duty support for 10 years. And like one of the other things that Activision does with its internal studios is chew them up into the Call of Duty machine, and then when they're done, shut down the studio. They shut down Neversoft, right? Neversoft, like a hallowed studio with an incredible pedigree, like the studio that is like behind the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series and Skeleton Warriors and Guitar Hero. They just shut them down, like pivoted them to Call of Duty. And when they were done having them work on Call of Duty, they shut them down. There are so many studios which have like these amazing histories, and they're just like, fuck it, go work on Call of Duty. And then when they're done, they shut them down. And I have to wonder at this point, because Activision Blizzard is like a single company, and literally the last member of Blizzard's original leadership team, Jeff Kaplan, just quit. He is the last connection to old Blizzard. He's gone now. How long until like there are teams at Blizzard that get retasked to working on COD?
Not long.
Yeah, not long at all.
Are we going on record to say less than 12 months?
We are still in the middle of a global panorama personal pan pizza, so I'd say by June of next year.
Okay. So Tegan's going to give him 13 months to pivot.
I'm giving him 13 months to start to pivot. I'm not going to say they're going to be completely pivoted, but I think they're going to start looking there, you know?
I am sure that, like, you know that meme of that fucking puppet who's, like, looking in a direction and then, like, looking?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who works at Blizzard and their job right now is on the Heroes of the Storm team, they're on their knees at night. They're like, dear God in heaven, I know what's coming. Please continue to let me work on this dumb MOBA that nobody plays. They're coming for that Heroes of the Storm team. I hope those people like coloring crates, because they're coloring crates soon. God. Fuck. So, thanks, Activision. Thanks for disappointing us. Tegan, tell us more about how the world is dumb.
No. Okay. So the meme stocks from the last year has made GameStop $551 million real-world dollars after they sold 3.5 million shares. And they're going to use that money, supposedly, to do a big transformation this year. They've been doing transformations for a number of years at this point. So, you know, We'll see how it goes. They have recently hired Elliot Wilk, who came from the Amazon Fresh stores, to be a growth officer, whose entire job is going to be to oversee this transition. GameStop's new chairman is Ryan Cohen, who was an investor and Chewy founder. And he's already called for a bunch of big changes to GameStop's business plan. Supposedly, he wants to push rapidly into e-commerce. I don't know how they're going to do that, considering the website's garbage. He also wants to make GameStop's customer service better. I don't know how he's going to do that. The call center's garbage. And he wants to aggressively expand the products that GameStop offers. And specifically, they said that they're going to close some physical locations and transform the ones that stay open into things like training centers for aspiring esports gamers. I don't know how that's going to work, but okay.
You're excited to see little Timmy show up at his GameStop gamer boot camp?
Full disclosure, right before I left, my GameStop was starting to host tournaments inside the GameStop. Like FGC tournaments inside the GameStop.
I mean, alright.
And it was dumb. It was dumb and bad for a number of reasons, including but not limited to the fact that the internet in our store was garbage. So, like, there were a number of things that you couldn't actually do, which was fun. And that our store was so small that it literally was not, like, feasible to have, like, 20 people in it at once. So, good luck, I guess, with all of this. I'm not a fan of seeing, like, the largest, essentially, like, pre-owned games retailer going like this. Because I feel like the pre-owned games market is important for video game, like, longevity.
Right.
But we'll see, I guess. Yeah. Not happy. But whatever. What do I know? I don't know anything.
No, this sucks.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we all agree it sucks. Brian, do we all agree it sucks?
I think it sucks. Yes, we all agree that it sucks. Right now, the biggest thing in the way between Sony and Microsoft making it so that discs cannot be reused between devices is GameStop. That relationship is, at least on the surface, like, important to Microsoft and Sony right now. And when Microsoft said, like, before the launch of the Xbox One back in 2013, like, hey, and you can't resell these games, like, part of the things that caused, like, Don Matrick to have to, like, pivot and eventually get fired was, GameStop saying, like, hey, this just won't cut it. Part of our market is used games, and if you're telling us that there won't be such a thing as an Xbox One used market, then
we're not gonna sell them. We're
less inclined to, like, stock it as deeply. I mean, so, like, on one hand, like, I don't want to, like, venerate them. I would prefer to see, like, a healthier, like, independent video game store market. But I also recognize that, like, outside of, like, larger metropolitan areas, that's more difficult. It's harder to go into, like, small and mid-sized towns and, like, find, like, healthy indie game store scenes. Like, I consider myself, like, very, very lucky to live in a city of 5 million that has a large variety of independent game stores to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, people who, like, say live in, like, Bumblefuck, Ohio don't necessarily have that choice. And I want used games to be available to those people. And GameStop is still, for better or worse, like, an integral component of that. Tegan, how far are you from Bumblefuck?
It depends on which direction you're driving in, but not that far.
Okay, fantastic.
You can get to Bumblefuck in, like, a good 40 minutes. Probably faster, though. Like, I have definitely worked at some, covered at some GameStops that were in the beginnings of Bumblefuck, Ohio.
Right. Passing the Bumblefuck is real signs.
Yeah, that's south of Columbus. Like, once you're south of Columbus, it's just early Bible Belt. And then you get to Cincinnati.
Deep in those Ohio burger war territories.
There's nothing else to do. You gotta have a war on burgers. Or about burgers, I guess.
Rocky, what's going on with esports?
So, I mean, there are a lot of things going on with esports. WePlay was recently unmasked as being tied to real criminal organizations that are banned in multiple countries. So, they got thrown out, but, they'll be back. We do it again every year, I guess. But the thing I want to talk about today, there is a company who are calling themselves the Esports Certification Institute. They describe themselves as a public benefit corporation created to foster professionalism, promote meritocracy, and increase diversity and inclusion in esports. Has presented itself to the public this past week, stating that they are making a esports certification exam where people can take and present to companies interested in expanding into esports their readiness to be a part of the industry. The licensing exam is currently going to be priced at $400, and once you complete it successfully, you will be esports certified, and you can present that to prospective employers. And they are also making available a study guide, which is priced at pay what you can afford for the same exam. And they recently publicized 4 test questions for this exam, or, study questions for this exam. I'm going to share one of them with you guys. I can share the other ones if that's necessary, but they're all screenshot into our show guide. A player is practicing their accuracy and has set a target of 80% average accuracy in 6 games. In their first 5 games, they averaged 78% accuracy. What must be the player's accuracy in the last game to achieve their goal of 80% accuracy across the 6 games? The question is multiple choice. Your options are A, 90%, B, 88%, C, 82%, and D, 80%. A lot of the questions are like this. They are statistics or mathematics focused, at least with the study questions that we've been presented so far. And while I do think these are valuable skills for esports and beyond, I am hard pressed to consider them entry level. Beyond that, the fact that you'd essentially pay for this certificate, assuming you already have this knowledge, seems like you're just simply that this esports certification institute is interested in adding a paywall to entering the field of esports, which seems counterintuitive, if not generally unhelpful.
Right. I have a question, Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
It's 90%. Do I get to be in esports?
Well, Brian, have you paid your $400?
I have not. I do not get to be esports.
Maybe, but a lot of esports, and this is actually a real problem, that people that actually end up working in esports are functions of, who you know. Whenever there is some sort of posting for a job in esports, those postings are inundated with an extraordinary amount of people who are interested in joining the field. Like, there are literally like thousands of applicants for like every job posting that ever goes up. And while maybe some sort of certification may allow certain people to stand out and companies to like pick the cream of the crop, it doesn't really solve the problem of the people that want to get into the industry but simply can't because there aren't enough jobs. And this seems like adding fuel to that particular fire. And it's, God damn it. There just need to be like more events and stuff. Like, they need to have more things for people to do. And again, I think the major thing that will help with this, it won't solve it all at once, but the good idea is to probably just fucking support your locals, If you care about esports, find the people who are doing esports-like stuff around you, who are running the local tournaments, who are putting together regionals, because those people need help. Almost certainly. There's some crazy overworked TO that's spending months of like 12-hour days just trying to put together like a 2-day tournament that they're only going to get spit at the entire time. And like maybe work with those people and find ways to make that shit profitable, because that's what's going to solve this problem. Like, but we're not there because everyone hates TOs or whatever. I don't know, man.
So I have a question. What does this exam have to do with, like, if I'm esports certified, does that mean I'm like a good player?
No.
Or does that just mean I'm good at math? Am I just a business major who gets to wear like a gamer tee to work?
I mean, it's probably mostly the latter. I do think that these kinds of statistics and stuff is going to be valuable for like running these types of events, because like being able to pull these statistics like out of your ass are the things that have made, say, Riot Games casting successful. Sure, like game knowledge is really powerful, and it's definitely good at getting people to like focus in and highlight the things that like your audience is going to care about. But I truly don't believe that the way to build esports is to populate it with business majors. That's a significant failure of what this certification exam is trying to test for.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to school.
Okay.
I'm going to get a sports broadcasting degree.
I'm interested.
And then I'm going to take this fucking test. So then I am both a business broadcast thing and esports certified. And now you can have me... Obviously, this means that I can successfully broadcast your game. I don't know shit about your game, but I can do it. Why isn't this like a test about, like, games? Are there going to be esports certification tests for different, like, is there going to be a Riot-themed one and a Valorant-themed one? And, like, am I going to have to end up getting individual certifications for every single game that is an esport?
So, like, oh, man.
Like
the whole point of, like, certification exams, like, as a whole, are to, like, identify tried and true
people
fundamentals. That, well, like, not even just that. Like, it's just, like, for, like, any, like, field, right? Like, for example, like, A+ exams in IT, right? It's because they know there are certain things about computers that everyone that works in this business should know. And whether we have a new drop next year, like if like Apple changes their entire shit next year, there are just fundamental things about computers that the A+ certification exam will still hold true. And like esports doesn't have that kind of base of knowledge yet. That's why they're testing fucking statistics. They know that everything about esports is like incredibly fragile. It's not even something you can say like fluid or like slush. Like it's just all this shit could fall apart at once. And then we have to start the whole thing all over again. And like the existence of this test, it's like 10 years too early. Like we don't know enough about creating successful esports enterprises. Like no one fucking does to like make a test that can identify those skills. Like a lot of it is just like hard work, long hours, persevering through like the millions of tiny failures that happens whenever these types of events happen. And like you can't bet on that, let alone teach it to someone.
Right.
The field isn't defined in any meaningful way. And like what that makes this fucking test is a fucking grift for like people who are desperate to just try to get into the door. And like maybe it'll connect, maybe there'll be like a whole fucking esports certification support group, and that'll be a base of where people can actually like build into esports because these people are finally fucking talking to each other. But like until then, this is a waste of time and a waste of money.
Just while I'm thinking about it, I want to key in on the idea of like nobody has this recipe. Like nobody knows the formula, right?
Right.
There is a good joke told about that in the movie I mentioned earlier, Max Reload and the Nether Blasters. Like there are dickhead bad guys in this movie,
sure,
who drive around in a convertible and are on an esports team. And they show up after they've been possessed by the demon, and they've all got the glowing red eyes, and they get out of their convertible, and like they're like seemingly holding weird sports equipment, and our hero's like, wait, what's that for? I thought you guys were an esports team. At which point, like, they fling a ball at our heroes and go, yeah, but we also like high ally. It's the world's fastest sport. And like I can just see like somebody sitting there like randomly throwing fucking darts at a board, being like, hey, how do I maximize the potential of my esports team? I know, high ally. Like I think when you like look at like the structure of esports teams, like they don't like, can you imagine like, all right, picture like the Denver Broncos, right?
Sure.
If you had like the Denver Broncos and like maybe 60% of the people on the Broncos played football, but like 20% of the people on the Broncos play basketball, and 10% of the people on the Broncos play baseball, and then the rest play Hearthstone, just like that seems to like mirror like the business model of so many esports teams, because like there are these like larger holding companies that were like, fuck, I don't know, people seem to like Valorant right now, but like what if Valorant collapses? Shit. Like these esports organizations don't feel like teams. I'm like, so what exactly are you, Team Liquid? Like, we're a variety of things. Hopefully you like some of it. Like,
right.
It's hard to, as a viewer, care about these organizations when the organizations are what I would call like seemingly directional. I know that when I sit down and watch like Team X in like in organized sport Y, that like what they are doing can like easily be understood. Like whether or not I care about American football, I know what the Denver Broncos do.
Right.
And I think that is like one of the biggest barriers esports faces, and no fucking $400 sham test solves that problem.
Right.
Okay, so what you're saying, here's what you're saying to me, is you're saying what we need, actually, is marketing, but organized marketing done by gamers, not done by frat boys in suits. So, like, instead of Cloud9 with teams X, Y, Z, who are all called Cloud9, but just in different things, we are the organization Cloud9, and we sponsor esports team Rainy Day, which is all shooters. And we sponsor esports team, like, whatever, and they play only these kinds of games. And they all have different names, but the group organization name is, like, what, like the NFL or whatever the fuck. Like that?
Maybe, but that could also lead to a whole new different level of, like, confusion. Where, like, it's like, yeah, I'm a Rainy Day fan. And it's like, oh, cool. So, like, do you know this team? It's like, why would I know that team? Well, they're all under Cloud9.
They're not Rainy Day. Yeah, I gotcha. So it's like, okay, so like, so Cloud9 becomes just the League of Legends team, because that's what they did first.
Sure.
Right? And then the group that belongs to Cloud9 that also does Valorant or whatever, they get a totally different name. They're no longer Cloud9. They are just whatever. Cowboy Shooters or whatever. Yeah. So Cloud9 and Cowboy Shooters are still owned by the same group. They're still sponsored by the same group, but they have unique identities.
So that could be interesting. I think it's probably the better way to do it, but the problem is that, like, because of, like, the publisher, like, I guess, esports team relationship, they're entirely beholden. Like, I mean, one of the things that I was hopeful about with Overwatch, or Overwatch League, is that because of the franchise model, the publisher and, like, the teams have, like, a deal, essentially. Hey, we're all going to be here for 10 years. Dig in. Let's make something good. And, like, they made something that's fine, but, like, it's still going. You know what I mean? League of Legends doesn't necessarily have a deal like that, or even, like, Smash Bros. Like, fucking Smash Bros. Like, Nintendo's just, like, the whole time, like, yeah, we don't really want this to be esports. It's like, but we really like playing esports. We have a built-in audience. We want to see this go huge. Yeah, but, like, the way that you guys play, it's kind of, like, rubs some of our customers the wrong way, and there's more of them than you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, they end up in these weird push and pulls, like, with, like, publishers, and they don't know when they should invest or when they should dig in. And then there's stuff like CSGO, which is just, like, been alive because people just keep playing it. And maybe that's the closest thing that could really be an esports. It's been around for, like, 20 years. Like, maybe that's something worth digging into, but who knows? Maybe something crazy happens and Fortnite kills CSGO somehow. I don't know how they would do it, but maybe they do. And, like, if Epic, like, gets bored and decide, oh, actually, we're just going to do Unreal Engine forever now because, like, Fortnite isn't really doing what we want it to or whatever. Like, that could be weird. Everything's so volatile that, like, digging in for these companies isn't necessarily a good idea. Diversifying is one of their better ideas. It's probably the best thing they can do besides, like, not being involved at all. But, like, being in this space is really stressful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, how do you balance that diversity, which helps, like, protect your business interests, while at the same time getting viewers invested? Like, I think that we had, like, a moment on this show, like, I think about a month ago, where we were talking about 100 Thieves, and, like...
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, hey, wait a minute, 100 Thieves does things other than, like, give Nico Lol a place to, like, say, okay, boomer, and like that, I was met with surprise because like all I knew was that, like, you know, 100 Thieves is how Nico Lol is, like, partially paying her bills now because she's on 100 Thieves.
Right.
And it's just like how, like, and I am certain that, like, part of building that identity has to be, like, primarily being associated with a particular game, you know?
Right.
Like, you might have those, like those interests which are designed to, like, diversify and protect your company, but the more you dilute it, the harder it is for people to figure out who you are. And so many of these esports teams now are doing it, like, and I'm going to say a phrase, Rocky, and as a person who likes esports, I'm sure that it'll, you know, cause your face to just uncontrollably twitch just a little bit. If I'm running an esport team and I say to you, hey, Rocky, we're going to expand our esport team to also be a lifestyle brand.
Disgusting. Absolutely not.
Right. And that is also increasingly going on, which is, like, esports teams signing YouTubers or TikTokers, and you're like, what game did this person play? And they're like, they don't play games, but what they do is they filled the entire bathroom with, like, plastic balls and then put up a YouTube video where they're making a funny face on the thumbnail, and it's called, we filled Mark's bathroom with plastic balls.
I mean, honestly, it's an improvement beyond, like, what they tried to do initially, which is just take these, like, teenagers that are playing video games at, like, I guess, a world-class level and trying to make reality shows out of them. Now it's mostly, like, League of Legends teams, and they just kind of film everything they do as, like, B-roll and, like, hopefully, like, find something uploadable that'll get them views on YouTube. And even, like, before that, I remember there was this whole weird promotional tournament thing with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where they took, like, some Street Fighter players, some Tekken players, and basically like put them in a compound for 10 days and had them try to learn the game and then compete against each other with like Tekken and like Street Fighter teams. And that was like, I think that was one of my first like interactions with like stream monsters. Cause I remember there was this Tekken pro who was just like trying to play the game. And like every time she was on screen, people would scream about like her thighs for like 15, 20 minutes at a time.
Jesus.
In addition to like, that's just, now that's the norm. But like also like she's like living in this like weird basement with these people just trying to play this video game for like some cash prize and some exposure. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. And like, you know, now they're just doing this with YouTubers who like opt into that shit themselves. And I guess that's better, but none of it's good.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm sorry, when you like said the thing about like just essentially trying to make them a reality show, I just thought about like what I'm going to call like the rapid spiral of Disguised Toast as a streamer.
Oh yeah.
And like how that shit was entirely exacerbated by Disguised Toast now lives with his teammates. And oh god.
Okay, so what you're telling me is we're fucked. No, so what if instead of each individual game gets its own brand, it's each style of game gets its own brand. So like Cloud9 does like League of Legends and other like 3-lane DPS games. So like, what is it? What's the other one? What's the other one?
Dota, League of Legends, and Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. So like, if you're on Cloud9, those are the 3 games you play essentially. And you don't have to be good at all of them. It's just, that's your style of game. And then if you're on rainy days, you only play shooter games. And, like, we're talking a specific kind of shooter. So probably not Fortnite, but definitely, like, Call of Duty and, what's the fucking, what am I thinking? Not Halo.
CSGO?
Yeah, that. If you play Fortnite, you have a different name. Because that's, like, that's a builder in a shoot. It's different enough that I think it'd be okay to be its own thing, you know? And that way, if you're, like, your team isn't fucked if one game goes down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like, okay, so, like...
And you buy an apartment building, and you put everyone in the apartment building so they all have their own houses, and they all have their own keys to their own houses, but they're not, they're there. And you can put, like, a nice gym in there, and you can put, like, you can make sure that there's good food in everyone's apartment, you can make sure everybody's living situation is chill, but, like, it's not, they don't live together. They have their own space. Like a dorm, like a fancy dorm, but without a shared living space.
In like the history of sports, like especially like professional sports, there's all sorts of like wacky shit that owners have done to try to make their thing profitable before like everyone loves them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like the short version about this, about specific esports, is that like it's way more visible while there are way more naked attempts to straight up make money at the beginning. And the truth is, all of it actually just has to happen organic. Shit like Faker, for example, because like he was a South Korean kid who really loved League of Legends that like played everything down to the wire and did some really crazy min-maxing stuff until like he blew up and became a worldwide name, right? But like all that shit that happened with Faker, like it was people reacting to the fact that the game was cool and it was happening. And like a lot of what esports is, especially at the, like, you know, the big money places, that they're trying to do it backwards. They're trying to like reverse engineer like household names or whatever. And like what they actually have to do is just like whatever it takes to tread water until the big explosion happens. And like we can see all the wacky shit that they're doing like at any given moment because of like the way communication and information works now. And like they were definitely doing this kinds of shit with basketball, with football, with baseball, but like people generally didn't know or see a lot of it. And some of it was terrible. And like some people chose to ignore it for like the love of the game or whatever, which is gross in a number of ways. Like they've made 1 billion baseball movies about it, but like it's not going to happen until it does.
Yo, all right. Speaking of 1 million baseball movies and gross things that baseball owners have done when baseball's not profitable, can we get a movie about the night that Disco died?
Fuck. I mean...
Okay.
Sure, man.
All right.
Maybe. Fuck.
Tegan, have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. So, baseball was in a bit of a slump in 1979. You know, no one really gave a shit. And so the White Sox were like, we should try and get people to come to our game. And so the White Sox were playing the Tigers, and they told people that if you bring a disco record to the game, we're going to have a bonfire. We're going to kill disco during the game. And so, like, they brought fucking explosives to the stadium to blow up the disco records. And, oh, Jesus Christ. This led to a riot.
Sure sounds like something.
It led to an actual fucking riot. And when people try and, like... Yes.
Oh, like a real riot?
An actual riot. Like, hundreds of people hurt. You know, dozens of arrests. And when people try and, like, pin down moments that the, like... cultural moments that touched off, like, the increased racism and homophobia and, like, the fact that that stuff was, like, codified as okay during the 80s, people point to the night that disco died. They're like, yeah, this was one of the moments that made that okay. Because all of the people who showed up to destroy disco records were all, like, just the worst people. And so, like, when you get them together, it was, like, the worst possible fucking situation. But, yeah, you know, the Sox sure made some money that night. You know, because they sold out the fucking stadium to, like, blow up disco records. God, so, like, good call, Rocky. Like, talking about how, like, you know, like, traditional sports have done this shit in the past, like, when money's been bad, you know? Mm-hmm. At least we have not had a night the disco died for esports yet.
Oh, dude, that's coming. Can you imagine, like, it's probably is going to be American. It's going to be, like, the 1 year that, like, fucking Cloud9 wins Worlds or whatever, and, like, we just have new LA riots now. That's just happening. Like, an American team takes Overwatch League and, like, they burn down, like, 3 streets in Seattle or something. You know, like, it's gonna be something stupid.
I've got your thing right here. Picture this. Make Among Us great again. A bunch of little astronauts running around in MAGA hats, and the next thing you know, people are in the streets.
Oh my god.
Nope. Absolutely not. I don't think Innersloth would allow that. At least not the current iteration of Innersloth.
No, they probably wouldn't. It'd be something that would happen, like, on, like, servers that are, like, disconnected from, like, you know, the actual ecosystem. Right. But it, like, builds its own following, and, like, they just start expanding their own server. And, like, Innersloth would be like, we swear we don't have anything to do with this. They're not monetized. It has nothing to do with us. But they just keep getting bigger, you know? And it's just, well, shit.
Another good candidate for, like, a game where this could happen is Roblox.
Oh, yeah. Like, after the IPO or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about something which is possibly predatory, potentially dumb, definitely interesting.
Okay.
So Microsoft is going to be reducing the cut in its store.
I've had questions about that, but go on.
Okay. So according to documents related to the lawsuit between Epic and Apple, Microsoft has plans on reducing the cut for digital downloads from 30%, which is the current cut on the Apple App Store, the Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Store, and Xbox Store. So those people are currently 30%. Steam reduced its cut in an effort to try and, like, compete with Epic. And now looks like Microsoft is going to be cutting its cut to the same percentage. Found in court documents identified by The Verge, Microsoft shares various information and data regarding its storefronts in a section of the filing which covers revenue sharing. Microsoft lists the Windows Store as reducing the revenue cut from 30% to 12% at some point this year, and also indicates that the same cut will happen to the Xbox console store for digital sales. The filings suggest that this will happen in 2021, but doesn't give a date more specific than that, just like this year. Rocky, it sounds like you've already got thinks on this. What are your thinks?
Yeah, so one of the things that I wasn't able to discern from any of, like, the notices about this is whether this simply was about, like, the Microsoft, like, Windows PC store, or if it actually expands to the Xbox Marketplace.
Xbox Marketplace.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that actually might make them even more competitive in like the console space.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like there was something, I forgot who published it, but there was a developer survey that was publicized this past week, where developers were saying that they're most interested in like developing for PC and PS5 right now, and like stuff like their interest in like VR, which was a real like developer hot topic about like even like 2 years ago, has like fallen significantly out of favor. And so I'm interested in like how this will affect like developer interest in for like the Microsoft platform, or even like offering stuff on the Windows Store, because like the Windows Store is not a part of like online marketplace conversations in terms of video games. Like it's Steam and yes, itch and like GOG exists, but like no one even talks about the Windows Store. And
right.
So like maybe this is a way for them to re-enter that conversation, but like I don't know.
Well, I think like if I were to bet real money, Microsoft is like very, very keen to, I think, increase the strength of the Xbox branding.
Okay.
You know, like they've been using the word Xbox to describe more and more things that happen. And I think that part of the reason for that is that Microsoft wants you to get used to the idea of thinking of Xbox as an ecosystem and not a box underneath your television.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Like that's why you can use Xbox Game Pass on your PC or Xbox Game Pass on your Android device. And so I would not be surprised at all if like the Windows Store is a thing that continues to persist for like non-gaming applications. Like if you were to go download some like 3D rendering tool or like some art program or some piece of accounting software, you'll buy that from like the Windows Store. But it wouldn't surprise me if what Microsoft starts to do is just like shunt all game sales through the umbrella of the thing labeled the Xbox Store on every platform.
Yeah.
As a way of like strengthening that brand, especially since like in these documents, the price cut is mirrored across both the Windows Store and the Xbox Store and occurs on both PC and console.
Right.
When I look at like this, and like if you're like a small indie dev which has like a limited amount of money for like what platforms you can develop for, because like let's be real, like every platform that you develop for has development cost associated with it. The amount of distance that you have to travel between the PC version of your game and the Xbox version of your game is the least amount, because the underlying structure, the thing under the hood for an Xbox is Windows. Like all an Xbox is a closed garden, fixed user control Windows machine. Like an Xbox is a Windows machine. So like if you're a developer which has limited resources, what Microsoft is telling you is like, look, you were already interested in developing for PC. Our store is going to take 12%, which is now competitive with Epic and Steam. And in addition to that, if you want to target console, we're also only going to take 12% on console. And in addition to that, if you launch here first on console, there's money you can get from us for releasing into Game Pass.
Right.
This like definitely positions them as, just from like a money standpoint, the most attractive ecosystem for indie developers in the console space. Like I don't know when's the last time y'all tried to like check any kind of like visibility in eShop, but Jesus Christ. Like we could at this point do the like what came out on the eShop today segment on the Switch, and it would probably be just as busy as the what came out on Steam today. Like it's wild, because like the amount of like just like garbage ports or 99-cent games that just flood the eShop that make it like hard to find anything even remotely of value is nuts. And so like if you're competing in that space where it's so hard to get visibility, and then the shop is taking 30%, like fuck, like you could hardly get anybody to notice you, and then after they notice you, you're giving away 30%. Even if you have low visibility on the Xbox Store, you'll still make more money. I also don't necessarily trust or like this because, since I think Xbox is now fighting a different fight than Sony, Sony still thinks that they're fighting the fight about boxes. Microsoft only superficially cares about boxes now. I think Sony's losing a fight they don't know that they're fighting. You know?
I'm not sure Sony's losing. I agree that Xbox is interested in playing a very different game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the fight that's actually happening currently, as far as Xbox and Sony are competing, I think Sony might actually be in a better spot. I don't think they're quote unquote winning, but I think they have an advantageous position currently.
I think that they have a lot of runway, and I think that they're in. It's really hard to tell because right now, because of the semiconductor shortage,
right.
And between the semiconductor shortage, the worldwide logistics problems caused by the personal pan pizza, and the rise of bots for shopping, which didn't exist the last time there was a console launch.
Right.
Both Sony and Microsoft literally cannot keep up with demands for their devices right now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a great tweet this week by Rami Ishmael in response to Sony announcing the number of PlayStation 5s that have been sold. Because Sony said, in their quarterly earnings disclosure, they're like, we've sold 7.8 million PS5s. And Rami tweeted, good of Sony to let us know exactly how many PS5s have been made.
Mm.
And that's pretty much fucking true. And because neither of these companies have been able to meet demand at all, we don't know what the limit of demand looks like for these ecosystems.
Sure, but altogether, I'm not sure if that's really that bad of a problem to have.
Right. Oh, man, is that a show? Have we made a show?
Everyone's called Impossible Coin. I'm very tired. We're here every week. You can find us where our podcasts are found. You may have noticed that there is music at the beginning and end of this show. It's produced by our friend Big Sach. You find his work on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/BigSachNJ. And if you want to drop him a line, you can find him on Twitter at Hillary_Swink. Our logo is also a t-shirt, and it was designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran, and consider donating to her Patreon. We also have a Patreon. Consider donating to us. It's at patreon.com/ImpossibleCoinPodcast. There you will have access to our artisanal show notes with additional content and behind-the-scenes stuff of what we do every week on this show. You will also have access to our premium watch-alongs, as well as focused content on other things that we care about, like anime and wrestling. If you want to talk to any of us directly, you can find us on social media. I'm generally on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Twitter and Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin. No dashes, underscores, anything weird like that. Find something weird, let us know, and we'll deal with it. But that's us. That's the show.
Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, and peace.